It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life. On this Wednesday, July 26, 2023. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. It is so great to be here with all of you on a beautiful summer's day here in New York City. I am sweating up a storm. It is hot out there, but I love it. I'm not one of these guys who complain like, oh, take me to January where it's cold and I can go skiing. Nah, give me 95, 365, 24/7, all good. That's what I want. That's the kind of climate in which I thrive. You know what I mean? That's my ancestors. My parents are from the Middle East. That's what I'm comfortable in. I'm comfortable in the desert type of heat.
It's 119 in Phoenix right now.
Wow, that's a little excessive, I must say. What's it like in Las Vegas? I'm off to Las Vegas in the morning.
About the same.
Well, I'll have my hoodie on, my sweatpants on. I'll be ready to go, revved and ready to go. And what a 7-day stretch, my friends. In the world of combat sports, starting with last Saturday, we had UFC London, another great performance by Tommy Aspinall. Of course, he was on the program on Monday. There he is. If George Kambosos is your thing, he had a fight on Saturday night in Oklahoma. A bit of a controversial one, but there was a boxing event happening. There was also Misfits on Saturday with the tag team stuff. Anyway, how about yesterday? I hope you all woke up early. If you're living in the United States, certainly in the on the West Coast, East Coast, not too bad. It was 8 o'clock. It was perfect. I hope you all took some time out of your day to watch Naoya Inoue fight the monster in Japan. The pageantry was second to none. The walkouts were tremendous. And then the fight itself we thought would be a classic, a clash of titans, et cetera, at 122. In fact, it was a classic, but it was a classic performance from perhaps right this second, the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world when it comes to boxing. He completely annihilated Stephen Fulton, beat him in the 8th round, and it's fun because you had that fight on Tuesday morning, and I've said this before, I love a Tuesday morning in Japan, in a way fight, and then on Saturday we have Spence Crawford, so there's a jockeying of position as far as the number one spot is concerned. You have to think if the winner of Saturday's fight is winning in a dominant fashion, he will end up number one because those are two top 5 guys. As good as Fulton is, he's not a top 5 guy. But still, I hope you watch that. Even if you are a casual boxing fan and a casual observer of all things combat sports, and let's be honest, if you're watching the show, you're probably not a casual observer of combat, maybe a casual boxing fan. Please, I hope you watch that fight on Saturday. And I'll say the same, on Tuesday, yesterday, and I'll say the same about Saturday's fight. I know it's going head-to-head with UFC 291, but if you can figure out a way to watch Spence Crawford, which I think will actually happen before the main event on Saturday in Salt Lake City, I think it's going to be in the 11 to 12 Eastern range. Do yourself a favor and watch that because that really is the best that boxing has to offer us. Saturday, we have 291, we have Spence Crawford, we have Bellator Ryzen, all happening within the span of like 12 hours. It's a great time to be a fight fan, especially if you like both forms of combat sports. So on today's program, we'll talk about all that and more. Buckle up, my friends. It's going to be a fun one. I'm very excited to be going out there, and I'm very excited to watch it all, to take it all in. This is a great time. Other sports, summertime, dog days of summer, training camp, friendlies, things of that nature. Shout out to Team Canada, big win over Ireland. Sorry to my Irish friends. But, a bit of a quiet time in July, not in combat sports. That's why we love this so much. As always, today's program is brought to you by our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are the official sports betting partner of not only this program, but the UFC as well. All you need is your DraftKings on Saturday, and there's got to be something for everyone, right? Whether it's UFC 291, whether it is Spence Crawford, and it's a pretty solid undercard as well. Isaac Cruz, Nonito Donaire fighting on the main card, but below the main event, of course. Usually it's just the main event that is of interest, but there's a little something for everyone. And then, of course, Bellator Ryzen. Is Bellator Ryzen available for betting, GC? Have they put
It is.
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
AJ McKee out.
McKee, yeah.
Trisha Pitbull in. How about that?
Yeah.
So a little something for everyone there. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook. Tell them we sent you. Use the code the MMA Hour. Back into the show. The boys will make their picks. I won't. I think it's the first time I'm not involved. course, I went with Molly on Saturday. Good faith, olive branch. Didn't quite work out. Don't regret it at all. Some things are bigger than the Parlay boys, but as a result, I am
Excuse me?
out. Yeah, some things are bigger. I am out, and they are all in. That'll be back in the show. Part of that, Paulo Costa, Boashinha, is going to join us. He is, of course, fighting October 21st in Abu Dhabi against Khamzat Chimaev, one of the most anticipated fights of the year, I would say. Certainly non-title, fourth quarter fight, massive one in Abu Dhabi. Right below is Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira 2. Can't wait to talk to Paulo Costa. What a treat he always is. Part of that, Nathaniel Wood will stop by. Remember, we spoke to Lerone Murphy on Monday about their little tete-a-tete. But more importantly, he had a big win over Andre Fili, one of the most entertaining fights of Saturday at the O2. We'll talk to the prospect. Is he still a prospect? I don't think so, but we'll talk to him on all things Saturday, London, and where he goes from here. Robbie Lawler is going to stop by at around 2 o'clock. Stay tuned for that. Been a while since he's been on the program. Not one to chase interviews, not one to really want to do interviews, but we had the great moment just a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas after the Nico Price fight. He retires. Amazing stuff. Ruthless Robbie Lawler is actually going to be on the show today. I can't even believe it. We'll answer your questions on the nose. You know how we like to do. But first, let's go all the way to Salt Lake City, where UFC 291 is going down this Saturday. What a great card this is at the Delta Center. Yes, it's the Delta Center again, just like the old days in the 90s with the Utah Jazz, Stockton and Malone. And in fact, one of the participants on Saturday's card showed up yesterday to check in wearing an old school John Stockton number 12 jersey. Yes, he's your friend and mine. Michael Chiesa returning for the first time since November of 2021. There he is. Big Mike. How are you, sir?
What's up, brother? I'm really good. Yeah, I thought about throwing the Stockton jersey on, but I can't break our tradition. If I'm going to wear any basketball jersey on our show, and I do call it our show,
yeah, sure.
It's going to be a Knicks jersey.
I know. I saw it yesterday, and I was like, I appreciate what you're doing as a fan of 90s basketball. I appreciate it. I was wondering if you were jumping ship, but then I just thought you were paying homage to one of the greats of Salt Lake City, right?
Well, I have a lovely story for you. You're going to like this.
Okay.
So obviously, John Stockton, he's one of Spokane's finest. He played for Gonzaga. And for people that wonder, it's not Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga.
Okay.
Played for Gonzaga out of Spokane. And my grandmother had a really nice antique shop. And John Stockton used to come after hours and buy antiques from my grandma.
No way.
Yeah, so I've been a Stockton guy for a long time.
Did you ever meet him?
I did when I was a kid. He's very, very quiet, very private guy. And he would always come when the shop was closed to just kind of avoid, at the time he was a very, very big deal. So he liked to be left alone a little bit. So I did get the chance to meet him a few times when I was very young. So, yeah, so I he's one of Spokane's finest athletes. So it's only fitting that I got to show love for the Stockton family out here in Salt Lake.
No, it makes total sense. Had no idea Stockton liked to antique. Like to go antiquing, as they say. Who knew? Had no idea your family was in the antiquing business as well.
Yeah. Grandma Triber, dude. Grandma Triber, she had a very, very nice antique shop. And I actually worked for but my last job before I went full-time with UFC was I worked for Anheuser-Busch, and that's actually ran by the Stockton family. So I worked for the Stocktons before.
Really?
I hung up my Anheuser-Busch uniform. That was my job full time. So I worked for the Stocktons.
What did you do for them?
So when I worked it was called King Beverage, and I was a beer merchandiser. So I would just go to the store, stock shelves, slang beers. And a lot of the Stockton family were higher ups in that company. So I worked for the Stocktons. I've been around the Stocktons.
Look at you.
And now I'm in the city where John Stockton had a tremendous amount of success. So
I love it.
It's very fitting for me.
And obviously we've talked about the long journey to come back, and you had the close call in April, and we thought you were going to fight then. Last fight, November of 2021. What a freaking road to get here. What does it feel like to be in the midst of fight week? You're cutting weight. The face is a little slimmer. I see it.
I know. Well, I shaved.
You did shave as well. But like it's there. You can feel it. You can sense it. You're checking in. It's been almost 2 years since your last fight. How are you digesting everything?
It just feels like I never left. It doesn't feel like my last fight was almost 2 years ago. The last big card I was on was 265 in Houston. It doesn't feel like I've been away. I've had long layoffs due to injuries and stuff, so I don't anticipate to have any issues when it comes to the competition. When I look at the situation with what happened in April, there is a light in that whole situation. And I don't believe in ring rust, but I do believe in camp rust. And so fortunately for me, I got a full camp under my belt when I was training for Li Jingliang. So I shook off the camp rust, and it made it easier this training camp to deal with the rigors of the hard sparring and just everything that comes with it. So, but when it comes to competition, man, I'm a competitor. I was born to do this, and it just feels good to be back at Fight Week. And it feels good to be here. The city, there's something about being here in Salt Lake City and John Stockton playing for the Utah Jazz, him having the success that he had. There's certain things about it that just feel like something's in the air for me. I think that we're in for a really special performance from myself.
How did you feel when you got the name Kevin Holland? It's not like they're letting you ease your way back into it. He looked great in his last fight. He's a tough out at 170 and 185, but having success at 170. Your thoughts on the matchup when they approached you with this name?
When have I ever wanted an easy fight?
Yeah.
I've never wanted an easy fight, and I feel like Kevin and I have kind of been on a collision course to fight each other. I think had I got to fight in Miami, I think him and I would still be fighting each other on this card. So I think it was inevitable, and I think it's better to catch him now before he really hits his prime at 32. I know how I felt from 30 to 35, and I think Kevin's best years are ahead of him. But I'm happy with this fight. I like somebody that's going to bring the fight. And it's fun to be on the main card with him. I like this matchup a lot. I've known this was going to happen for a long time. Even when he fought at 185, I would pay close attention to his weigh-ins. He'd always weigh in around like 183, and I'm like, this guy's going to be a welterweight someday. Him and I are probably going to fight. Styles make fights, and I just feel like him and I have been on a collision course. I got a tremendous amount of respect for him. He's a fierce competitor. He's a fighter's fighter. I mean, in 2020, he went on one of the best COVID runs we've ever seen. Those are the guys I want to fight. I don't want to fight easy fights. Li Jingliang he's a tremendous opponent. I think the world of him, but that was a much more favorable matchup. And I feel like I like this fight better. I like this fight. I like the challenges that it presents. I like this fight better than the one I had in Miami. I want to be tested. I'm not here for easy fights, Ariel.
Why do you feel like you were on a collision course? Excuse me. Like something about your interactions, or is it just you had a feeling that at some point you guys would fight each other?
Just kind of a feeling. There was just something that, my intuition can be pretty spot on sometimes. And I just feel like him and I were just destined to fight at some point. And, I was correct. And, I'm glad that it's now. I think this is going to be a really fun fight for the fans. I'm going to enjoy competing against him. I think he's going to bring out the best in me. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a good night for our team.
Where do you think he's better, 185 or 170?
We'll find out. I think we'll find out. I think that at 185, until you run into the guys that are a lot bigger, I think he really could have ran through anybody. Him beating Jacare Souza, that's a huge feather in his cap. I still look at that fight like, holy crap, he knocked out Jacare on the ground from his back. That's about as good of a win as you're going to get at 185 pounds. I think that this is the right weight class for him. I think that nobody will have a size advantage over him. He's one of the taller guys. He's one of the longer guys. But I've been in there with a guy with that frame. I fought Neil Magny, and I had a lot of success in that fight. But I think that this is the best weight class for him. I think 185 is better for him because he doesn't have to cut weight, and he's making the drop down. But for me, I like that I'm the one coming up a weight class. I don't have to deal with the extra cut. And I think that's something that could play into my favor.
While preparing for this fight, did you have anyone talk shit during sparring?
I have a great story about this.
Okay. Anyone try to replicate his attitude in there?
Chase Hooper.
Oh, wow. Really? Of all people?
Out of nowhere. Look, I'm a game guy. Like, if you saw in the Sean Brady fight, I was talking some crap. I've had fights where I've been, a little verbal myself, maybe not to the extent of Kevin Holland, obviously, but I've had fights where I've gotten a little chippy and, talked a little crap in there. But Chase Hooper was up training with us before I left for Vegas to finish training camp. And on a whim, he just started like, let's go, motherfucker. I was like,
wow.
Whoa, Chase, chill. Chill out, Chase. What'd I do to you? But it was just funny because nobody told him to do it. He just did it. But yeah, there was a few sessions that we had where we did that. I think it's kind of hard to talk crap when I'm kind of kicking someone's butt in the gym.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but for Chase, it was just funny because nobody asked him to do it. He just did it. And I was just like, once we got done, I was like, where'd that come from? He's like, well, I don't know. You're fighting Kevin Holland. I figured I'd talk some shit. I was like, Hooper, bless your heart. What a guy.
That's a great teammate. I love that. And very unexpected
Yeah.
as well. By the way,
Yeah.
not a lot of guys left from Tough Live, from that one live season that you were on, and thrived in. And I'm just wondering, at any point during all of this long road back and the injuries and some of the bad luck and whatnot, did you think like, is this it? Is it coming to an end here? Did you ever did those doubts ever come into your mind?
100%. And I have no problem talking about them. During COVID, when I had knee surgery, I thought my career was done too. I had to have hardware removed from my leg from an old injury. And it really, I honestly could have filed a malpractice suit against this doctor. And I don't want to name names because I'm not here to do that. But there was a moment in time during 2020 where I was like, well, this might've been it. The RDA fight might've been my last one. My leg was butchered. It was really, really bad. So,
Wow.
And then through the long road back, the big thing for me was, talking to my peers, mainly Daniel Cormier, because I had a back injury. I've had a history of back problems. And the surgery that he had after the Lewis fight was the same one they wanted to do on me. And he was just like, don't do it. Don't do it. I could never train the same. And for you wrestle like your style, you're not going to be able to train the same way. So, I stayed off the surgery. I had to have a lot of injections. There was a lot of doubts for sure. But everything worked out and I'm here. I have a full bill of health. There's a reason why too, that I spend a good chunk of my camps down at the UFC Performance Institute. And I can honestly say, and I'm not just saying this because I'm headed into a fight and Kevin's probably going to watch this, but I spent the least amount of time in the PT room than I ever have. So my body is literally firing on all cylinders. It's like I don't know, it's like my third or fourth life in MMA where I felt like I've had injuries where I thought it was done. 2016, I thought I was done when I ruptured my disc before the Tony Ferguson fight. I've had a lot of injuries. Like I haven't had the traditional ACLs or shoulder repairs. I've had like severe back injuries, malpractice, hardware removal. I've had these crazy, weird kind of catastrophic injuries, and somehow I found a way to pull through. But yeah, there was definitely a point in time where I was like, if I'm going to get that back surgery, I'm not going to compete anymore. It's not worth the risk. If I can't train the way I need to train, I'm just putting myself in harm's way. But fortunately we were able to pull through and my back's great. So, I can attribute a lot of that to the UFC PI staff, man. They took good care of me. We figured out a way to structure my training, my strength conditioning, and the things that are important to me to where I can still train the way I need to train that suits my style and not be compromised. So it's crazy that I didn't spend that much time in the PT room this camp. I feel really good.
I mentioned you to a lot of people because of the TV work that you do, because you were kind of, you were on the outside looking in, and you kind of willed this into existence. Like you kept putting it out there, you worked your ass off, you were omnipresent, and you kept letting people know that you want to do this. And now it's like you're freaking swimming in jobs. And hopefully that will improve to like higher profile roles on the broadcasts and whatnot. But I'm just wondering, doing that stuff and being around the fights and preparing and doing research and all that, does that help the mind not go to the dark place of like, could this be it? Because you're still in the mix, right? Like you're still kind of getting those butterflies. It's different. You're not fighting, but you're preparing for fights. You're talking. The red light is on. If you didn't have all that stuff, do you think this road back would have been tougher?
Yeah, I think so, because it kept me hungry. I'm just having to pay attention, especially my weight class, having to pay attention to my weight class, study these guys, and like just being like, man, I'm not done. Like I'm in my prime. I'll never forget this. I trained with Trevor Prangley one time, and this was like one of my last practices before I had my leg surgery during COVID. I went over to his gym and trained, and he was like, dude, my best years were like 32 to 36. So for me, like as I'm going through this and really I'm in my prime, that 32 to 36 window, as I'm doing this broadcasting stuff, I'm dealing with injuries. I got all this stuff going on. I'm like, I can still beat these guys. I'm still one of the best in the world. And that that really kept me motivated, and it's helped me grow as a fighter too. It's helped me learn how to watch fights, study fights, and maintain a balance of being objective and subjective. And I really did will that into existence, Ariel. I'll never forget Mexico City when I walked up and ripped the mic out of your hands and was like, started interviewing you.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, that actually did gain a little bit of traction with the higher ups. So, if you want something, you have to go for it. Like I tell people, ask me all the time, certain fighters are like, hey, how do I get to the desk? I'm like, I could tell you how, but I don't know if you're going to do it. Like I actually won fights and took that 60-second window after a fight that's so valuable to call out a fighter, call your next shot. I spent that 60-second window on saying, hey, when do I get to have a microphone in front of my face so I can talk about fights? Like it's something I've always wanted to do. John Anik kind of planted that seed when we were on Ultimate Fighter, and everything has worked out for the best. And I love that my life is completely entrenched in mixed martial arts. I'm a fighter. I'm a commentator. I'm an analyst. I have to pinch myself every morning I wake up because to me, live the greatest life ever. Like my life could not be any better. I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing career. And my life, it just revolves around the thing I love the most, which is mixed martial arts.
That is great to hear. You mentioned Tony Ferguson earlier, and I wouldn't put you and him in the same bucket, but there's a couple of like fan favorite, lovable characters on this card who does feel like their backs are against the wall. Ferguson would be at the top of the list. Derek Lewis to a degree as well. Again, I don't put you, but you are on a losing streak going into this fight. Do you feel pressure? Do you feel like, does this one feel different? Like you need to get back on the winning track? Because before this, you were right there, right? You don't need me to tell you that. You were right there. Are you feeling any of that extra pressure?
And I'm not. And I think that the layoff kind of helps with that. Like I remember headed into the Carlos Condit fight, I felt that pressure because like I went from the Pettis fight where I missed weight and came up short, second loss in a row, Kevin Lee, Anthony Pettis, jump into the Carlos Condit fight. That was a tough hurdle to overcome because 2 losses in a row, new weight class against a guy I admire a ton. Like in my mind, I was like, I'm about to be a part of this guy's highlight reel and it's going to be my 3rd straight loss. That was pressure. I don't feel pressure right now. I've had this, it's like a new breath of life for me. Like I said, you hit the nail on the head asking if I thought, was Sean Brady my last fight because of the injuries I've had. So I don't feel like, I don't feel like I'm heading into this fight with 2 losses beneath or under my belt. Like it doesn't even factor into my thoughts, but I'm not in that echelon of guys that's like backs against the wall. This might be the last one. I got a lot of tread left on my tires. And while I've had these bad injuries, the one part on my body that's still preserved the most is right here. So I think that that's most important. I haven't taken a lot of damage I haven't taken a lot of damage upstairs through my career. And I think that that's what's most important, but I don't feel that kind of pressure. If it all ended now, I've had a great career and I will continue to have a great career because I will never lose my identity as a fighter, because when the day comes that I put the 4-ounce gloves down, I'm still going to be at the desk. Someday I'm going to be sitting next to DC and Paul Felder commentating fights. I will always have my identity as a fighter intact. I will never lose that. So there is no pressure anymore.
So we all know that Kevin Holland struggles or has struggled with wrestlers, right? And you mentioned 2020, the following year, 2021, he was booked in some tough fights. And some of that came out. Do you think he's gotten at all better? Last couple fights hasn't really been tested in that regard. And are you going to look to test him in that regard?
I just want to show a full display of mixed martial arts. And you got to look too at the guys. That was Derek Brunson.
Yeah.
Those Marvin Vettori. Those are big guys.
Yeah.
Those are guys that are a lot bigger than me. So like the casual person may say, well, there's a clear path to victory. Well, the casual person is not factoring in that this guy's in the right weight class. And obviously there is a plan A for me, just like there is for him. I don't see him going out trying to shoot takedowns on me. And I don't think he anticipates me to go out there and have a boxing match with him, but we're both well-rounded mixed martial artists. And I think it's important for me to mix it up, just put on a full display of mixed martial arts, show that I can put it all together, blend the striking with the wrestling. And I think I'm going to have a really good night. Honestly, it's been a really good camp. I had the right partners too. That's a big thing for this camp is having the right guys, 81-inch reach, 6'3". Like, I have tall teammates, I got Austin Arnett and Ashton Charlton, but they're not tall like Kevin. So I trained with the Urbina brothers. I trained with my buddy Daryl, who's a good kickboxer himself. So I brought in the right guys to get ready for that frame and that size and the striking. So I dotted my I's, I crossed my T's. I lived in Mount Charleston for a month to get ready for the elevation. Like every little detail has been addressed. There's no reason why I shouldn't win this fight.
And just two last questions, and that was actually my next question. Living in Mount Charleston, obviously you watched last year in Salt Lake City, right? I mean, guys who are super fit, who never have cardio issues, the likes of Jose Aldo and Leon Edwards, were talking after how it affected them. How confident do you feel that experience will prepare you for Saturday? And what does that actually mean? Like living, like how close to the same elevation as Mount Charleston to Salt Lake?
So my original plan was I was going to come out to Salt Lake City for a month, and that was kind of like, well, this is going to be this whole thing where we got to find training partners. And, when you're in Las Vegas, there's just bodies everywhere. It's not hard to find a guy that can emulate your opponent. So it was, it started to become a reality. It's going to be hard to recruit guys to come out here for a month. So then me and Charles got to talking, Charles at the UFC PI, and I came up with the idea. I was like, well, what if I stay in Mount Charleston? He goes, well, that's perfect, because the real method to this is live high and you can train low. Like, you don't have to live and train at the elevation. The common misconception is people think that they can live low and then just like, I'll go up to the mountains and train for the day and come back down. Like, it doesn't work. You're not going to get the adaptation. So for me, I found a hotel in Mount Charleston, the retreat. They're at 6,800 feet elevation. I'm fighting at 4,300 feet elevation. So I would just get done with my training, listen to my audiobooks, drive to Mount Charleston, sleep, rest, do what I got to do up there, and then come back down to train. And that was just that's what I did for a month. And I feel great. I mean, I had my first real hard workout last night, and elevation will not be an issue for me. I can promise you that.
Which audiobooks are you listening to?
I was listening to The Mindful Athlete at the prescription of my Uncle Joe. My Uncle Joe Corella, Dr. Joe Corella, he's the sports psychologist for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I said, hey,
wow,
I got these long drives ahead of me. What should I listen to? He said, the first one, Mindful Athlete. So I've been plucking away at that one.
Recommend it?
Yes, very, very good. It's all about being in the moment, being present. And it's very interesting because it's the same guy that Phil Jackson brought in for the Bulls and the Lakers, the guy that taught them how to being more mindful athletes, learning how to meditate, being more present, being more in the moment, and like blocking out the outside noise. That's been good. And I don't really read books or listen to audiobooks, so this was a first for me, but yeah, it's been really good.
And just curious, have you ever talked to your uncle about, I mean, he does, I didn't know he worked for the Bucks. Yeah, you have. Okay.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, dude, he's got a Super Bowl ring. That's got two
incredible.
Super Bowls with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. I talk to Uncle Joe all the time. He loves to check in on me, and he's usually a frequent in my fights. But right now, my cousin is going to different colleges. She's a really good volleyball player, so she's getting ready to go to college. So they're traveling around doing that. He would love nothing more to be here, but he's checking in on me every day.
Nice.
He officiated my wedding. He's an amazing guy. I would love if someday if you guys would cross paths, because he's a real mensch. He's a good guy to be around.
I would love that as well. Last thing, take the fighter hat off, analyst hat on. Poirier Gaethje 2. Who wins? Why?
This is a really hard fight to pick. And look, Justin Gaethje is going to have to do what he did against Fiziev, and he's going to have to stay within himself. He's going to have to use his jab and not let himself get too excited, get too comfortable like he did in the first fight with Poirier. The problem is Poirier is a southpaw, and the jab is not going to be as effective. But I think it's a good starting point for him to just stay contained, but he can't deviate away from who he is. Like, he can't deviate from the Justin Gaethje that has made him this fan favorite. But it all starts with the jab. And for Poirier, he can't afford to go back on the center line like he did against Chandler. While he did get backed up, he did crack Chandler with that nice hook in round 1 and almost finish the fight. You just can't do that against Justin Gaethje. You do not want to deal with that barrage, with that storm that he will bring to you if you back up to the fence against him. So for both guys, stay true to yourselves, but you got to work behind some very basic weapons. So I think it's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be violent. It's going to be chaotic. And I love the fact that they're fighting for the BMF title. I think that this fight validates the BMF title. These are two guys that either one of these guys could have been the undisputed world champion if there wasn't a guy named Khabib Nurmagomedov at the top of the mountain. So I think that these two guys fighting for this belt validates it, and it's going to be a tremendous fight for the fans.
That was tremendous analysis. Can I just push back on one quick thing?
The belt.
I hate the belt.
You're going to push back?
I hate the belt. Can I tell you why I hate the belt? Because my whole
Tell
life,
me why.
my whole life as a fight fan, boxing, MMA, I've always been told that the best guy in the division is the man holding or woman holding the belt, right? The champion is the baddest in the division. And at heavyweight, that's the baddest person on the planet, right? And so if I'm the champion of the weight class, which these guys are fighting in, it happens to be 155, and in this case it's Islam, I'm like, wait, hold up. I'm the baddest man on the planet. This belt says I'm the baddest man on the planet. So it has to be something. If it was for the most violent man on the planet, I'd be cool with it. But to me, it's somewhat insulting to the actual champion of the weight class that there's now another guy who people are saying, no, that's the cool mofo. That's the baddest man. No, the belt that person holds means to the world that he's the baddest man. Do you get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. And look, I had a little quarrel with it when the BMF title was first introduced. And I'll tell you what it was. It was because Donald Cerrone wasn't the one fighting for it. Because to me, that's the original BMF. Yeah. But I think that it's deserving. And you got to think from a business standpoint, Ariel, before we get off. From a business standpoint, it's getting really hard to stack the cards with multiple title fights through a calendar year. It's getting hard. While Poirier and Gaethje could be a 5-round non-title pay-per-view main event, anybody's going to purchase it. Yeah. It makes it easier to put the title on it, and it's deserving. In my opinion, it's very deserving these guys fight for a title, but it's going to open up the doors to where we can have maybe 3 title fights at MSG or 3 title fights at the end of the year. If they had to force a title fight onto this card, it might take away from the bigger cards at the end of the year. So it's fitting these guys, in my opinion, fight for the BMF title because they're both bad mofos. And I think it's gonna pay its dividends down the road from a business standpoint.
This fight is so good. I don't need a fake title attached to it. That's the kind of fight fan I am. I don't need the title. I don't need
what's that belt right there? How'd you win that? Win that one?
Someone gave it to me as a present. It's a Fugazi belt. The point is, I like the steak. Well done. You like the sizzle. You see, I'm a pure fight fan. You guys all just like, oh, I need a belt. I don't need a belt. Tell me Poirier, Gaethje are fighting, I'm all good. They were good enough to headline Fox in 2018. They're not good enough to headline a pay-per-view card. That's silly, in my opinion.
You know, I gotta ask you though. Now you're opening up the floodgates because now you're talking about steak and sizzle.
I know.
Talking the guy that likes his steak well done.
That's
you
right.
Like to chew on hockey pucks?
Oh, I love it. But I'm Canadian. Who wouldn't? You get a hockey puck to the face. It's tremendous. It's just the way I like it. All right. It's the way I like it. I like all things salmon well done. They give you the salmon. It's all pink in the middle. Like, what the hell is this all about? Like, if I want sushi, I'll have sushi. If I want foie gras, I'll have foie gras. But I like my steak well done. And by the way,
or if you want to chew on a rubber tire, you'll just chew on a rubber tire.
By the way, the real problem are the people like you who have an issue with the way I like my meat. You eat your meat the way I'm not looking at your plate. You do you, I do me. But yet some people, I think it exposes your insecurities that you have an issue with the way in which I like my meat, as opposed to me having an issue.
I'll tell you what it is. You just, ever since you broke out from under the corporate umbrella and you've just become this outspoken guy, I don't like the way you speak about rare steak. It's just like...
Listen, if that's your one issue with me, ever since I broke through, I'll take it. I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that.
That's my only issue with you. Outside of that, you're one of the best in the business, Ariel, and it is always a pleasure to chop it up with you, my man.
Much love, my friend. Welcome back. Tremendous to see you back on the card, and good luck on Saturday. Can't wait for it.
Thank you, Ariel.
There he is, Michael Chiesa. Big fight for him. Great main card on Saturday. I really like this main card a lot. My feelings on the BMF title aside. And I have only love and respect for Poirier and Gaethje. They're two of the very best ever. The best thing that you could say about Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje is this. When they fought in 2018 on Fox in Arizona, they were 2 top 5 guys. I think technically I actually watched the broadcast again yesterday, and I think they were 3 and 6 or 5 and 6. In my opinion, they were 2 top 5 guys. Here we are 5 years later, and they're still top 5. In fact, they're in the top 3, I do believe, depending on if you put the champion as 1 or above the 1. That's insane. For arguably the toughest weight class, it's 135 or 155. It's only killers at 155. Look at who they fought. No easy fights since that fight. The fact that they are still in this spot, in a spot where anyone would be okay with them headlining a pay-per-view with or without a BMF title attached, and let them win the title. Let them get whatever comes with that belt. Let them get the pay-per-view points. Lord knows they deserve it. I'm being somewhat of a stickler here. It doesn't take anything away from the fight and my excitement for this fight. And let's be honest, the stakes as well. we know that Charles Oliveira is fighting Islam Makhachev on October 21st, but I don't see a reason why the winner of this fight can't be next, unless they just want to fight again. Who is more deserving than the winner of this fight, especially if it's a decisive, dominant victory? Who would be more deserving? I don't think there's anyone out there right now. Now it's going to be a while, right? This is late July, very late July. That fight's October 21st, so it will be next year. But who's more deserving than that? So I love this than that winner. I love this main card. It's a really fun main card. Chiesa Holland is going to be great. Tony Ferguson back against the wall. I can't believe how big of an underdog he is against Bobby Green, but that should be wild in its own right. Stephen Thompson versus Michel Pereira. Michel Pereira quietly on a 5-fight winning streak, putting it together, and that should be a fun striking battle. Thompson looked great against Holland back in December. So I'm looking forward to that one. Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira obviously has some title implications attached to it. We'll see what happens with the light heavyweight title. Obviously, they're not putting the belt on the line on Saturday. There was some discussion about whether or not they would. They are not. And it's still unclear who the winner of this fight will fight. And it's even still unclear if the winner of this fight will fight for the belt next. There are really 4 guys in the mix. These two, Yuri Prochazka, Magomed Ankalaev. Rakic is coming back at some point, but he's not quite there, in my opinion, just because he's been out for so long, coming back from the knee injury. And so does the winner of this fight Yuri? Does Yuri fight Ankalaev? It's all sort of up in the air. I think if Pereira wins, you got to do Pereira versus Yuri. I think if Jan wins, I mean, you're not going to do Jan versus Magomed. And Yuri told me that he's ready to go in the fall. There's a lot going on there between the Sydney card and the December pay-per-view. There's a lot up in the air. Obviously, we know that Dricus du Plessis is not fighting on September 10th. And who would have thunk that he'd be unable to return 2 months after fighting Robert Whittaker? We all knew this was going to happen. And yes, the Izzy fight is much bigger. The Izzy fight is way bigger now against du Plessis than it was had he not fought Whittaker, especially because of the post-fight stuff. But had they just booked du Plessis versus Izzy after April and not had DDP fight someone else, they would have had their main event for Sydney on September 9th. There's a little bit of trepidation as far as Sean Strickland in that spot, so I'm curious to see what ends up happening there. It's not a done deal, Strickland and Izzy, even though Izzy was saying on camera, like, next man up, let's go. I think Izzy versus anyone. Izzy deserves to fight in Sydney if that's where he wants to fight. I think Izzy versus anyone sells that thing out in 10 minutes. That's the biggest fight that you could possibly make in Sydney, especially with Volkanovski, unavailable. Izzy versus anyone at this point. I mean, he's the biggest star as far as active fighters are concerned. Conor will always be the biggest star, but in terms of guys who are fighting multiple times a year, I mean, the guy just comes back. He fought in November. He comes back in April. He's willing to fight in September. That's going to be 3 times in 10 months, and he's that big of a star. You compare that to the likes of Crawford and Spence, who fight once a year at most, and look how big of a deal they are and how much they get paid. Look at someone like Izzy. Like, no one, other than, it's like him and Canelo and Volkanovski are the 3 guys who are fighting, like, with their star power so high, who are fighting, as actively as they are. So I'm very curious to see what happens there, and then I'm curious to see what happens at MSG. I mentioned on Monday, I'd love to see Jones and Leon co-headline. More often than not, they'll put Jones alone as far as title fights, just like they'll put Conor alone. So then does Leon go in December? I don't know what's going on over there. It's a mess of a situation. I don't even know how I got on this tangent. Point is, a lot at stake. Jan, Pereira, they're going to be in the 205-pound title mix. And then you've got Poirier Gaethje, Derek Lewis on the prelims, Jake Matthews, some other names. So fun fight card. 2 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Robbie Lawler. Afterwards, Nathaniel Wood. Paulo Costa will be our final guest of the day. I can't wait for that conversation. But time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week is time.
It's time.
Yeah, we'll answer some questions here, and then we'll get to the rest after, because there's no chance I'm going to get to all of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived to hear from the man himself,
Yes.
Ariel Helwani.
That's me.
Live from the Vox Studios in beautiful New York City, it's On the Nose.
Yes.
And now, to answer your questions, get out of your seats and on your feet, because here he is, Ariel Helwani.
You know what? We're going to answer questions in just a second, but as I was pulling up the questions, of course, compiled by the great moderator Lewis, who always does a great job each and every week, and thank you to Mike Heck for that song. I did get the Fight Week media schedule for next week's Jake Paul versus Nathan Diaz clash in Dallas. And so without further ado, let me break some news for all of you. Do we have breaking news music? Yes. All right, here's the thing, my friends. For the first time since 2017, yes, first time in 6 years, the MMA Hour is going on the road, baby. Yes, for the first time since Mayweather-McGregor in Las Vegas back in August of 2017, we are taking this little show on the road. The MMA Hour is going to Dallas. Yes, the whole crew, myself, GC, Mysterious Frank, Sloppy Joe, Crypto Joe, Corporate Alex, New York Rick. Am I forgetting anyone?
Yourself.
Well, I said myself at the very
okay.
top. Jeez. Just like you lied about the Aspinall thing. Anyway, we're all going. We're packing up Tuesday morning, Rick's birthday, heading off to Dallas. I'm told don't call it Big D for some reason. We're going to Dallas, and we're doing 2 shows from Paul Diaz Fight Week. The first will be Wednesday. Yes, we do our Wednesday show, but it will actually be at the open workouts. So open workouts kick off at 3 p.m. local time. That's 4 Eastern. We're going to be at the open workouts, which are taking place at the factory on 2713 Canton Street in Deep Ellum, Dallas, Texas. We're going to be there at the open workouts. This is in conjunction and brought to you by our good friends over at DAZN. Thank you very much to them. We're going to be working together all week long. Of course, I'm working for them as well next week on the broadcast, call, all that stuff. But the MMA Hour, there you see it, on the road. How big is this fight? It's that damn big. Just the second time in our history, a live show on Wednesday and then a live show on Friday, August 4th, immediately following these ceremonial weigh-ins, which are taking place at the home of the Dallas Stars, Frank's beloved hockey team. Ceremonial weigh-ins pop off at around sometime in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, and then we'll be on after the conclusion of the ceremonial weigh-ins on our YouTube channel, on other YouTube channels as well, but you can watch it here, but it'll be in other places, and you'll learn about that next week. All the guests are going to be stopping by. Jake, Nate, Jeremy Stevens, Amanda Serrano, surprise guests, pundits. We'll all be there. Guys, how excited are we?
10 out of 10, 11 out of 10.
Wow, both of you talking at the same time. That's how excited you are.
That's how exciting it is.
Stoked.
GC's definitely stoked. Frank was a bit of, there's a bit of a hemming and hawing. You had some plans. I think you wanted to go to the Hamptons or something.
Luggage. I don't know.
Now this is big.
Rick?
Birthday, Dallas. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
It's gonna be fun. Listen, I don't plan. I don't plan anything because I'm not a birthday guy. Like I don't care what we do. Let's just get to work.
Let's just get to
Just
work.
throw like 5 black t-shirts into a bag and you're done.
Pretty much. Yeah,
black t-shirts, a few pairs of shorts and pants. That's it. Like
I
we're
thought it was a
good.
pants.
I love
it. Really new.
love
Rick,
it.
first fight week for you on site since?
Now, okay, so I've gone to local East Coast shows, right?
No,
Because
on
I've
the
gone
road,
to
on the road.
MSG and I've gone to Sterling and Cejudo, but to actually get on a plane to go cover an event,
Was it 266?
the last one was Ortega
Volkanovski.
and Volk in
Diaz
Vegas.
Lawler.
Yes. So it has been a bit.
Isn't it weird that Lawler's going to be on the show and that was your last? Weird.
Kismet.
I'm very excited.
Yes,
about
I'm
this.
very excited. I'm also an 11 out of 10, but I was an 11 out of 10 on just the fight alone. So maybe I have to
That's
bump
true.
it to a 12 out of 10.
That's true.
Like we're breaking the scale here. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited about the fact that we are going to be at the open workouts. I think that's going to be very cool because they're going to come and chat with us after the workouts. We're going to get to see the workouts. I think there's a lot of interest in Diaz's, workout. There's been people are breaking down 13-second clips on Instagram. There's a lot of talk, obviously, about Jake Paul having new trainers around him and obviously his evolution. The likes of Jeremy Stevens, Chris Avila, Amanda Serrano, one of the best as far as women's boxing is concerned. So we'll be there. And then after the weigh-ins, we'll get to, break down how they look. Diaz fighting at 185. That is new territory for him. So all kinds of intrigue. Live shows on the road. Very exciting.
Incredibly
Is it
exciting.
fair to say, and feel free to disagree, obviously, but I'm more intrigued about the fight week stuff related to this fight. To your point about the open workout and seeing how both of them look, more intrigued about the weigh-in than I would be for like the standard MMA card. True or false? Like, is that fair to say?
I actually thought you were going to say more intrigued than, say, Spence Crawford.
That's what I thought he was going to say, too.
Well, that, too, because I just, like, those guys are going to make weight. They're going to look the way they look.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like foregone conclusion, a lot of these ones at this point. But I feel like there's some intrigue around the other parts of Paul Diaz, in my opinion.
Just the novelty of Diaz boxing and the
weighing
shit
in
that he
at that weight.
had to, take, like Eddie Hearn saying he looked like an amateur. The weight, that's interesting. There's still always intrigue in how, Jake looks on the mitts and all that stuff. So, yes, I'm very interested. I mean, like, Spence Crawford is great, but, let's be honest, like, they don't really sell the fight in terms of their interviews and the pageantry and all that stuff. Like, I just want to see them. I just want to see who's the better boxer in that regard. And there's some fights like that.
If we could fast forward to the fight itself with Spence Crawford, nobody'd be mad. They'd just be like, okay, like, we can skip the rest. Let's just have the fight. But this one has
Corey
more
Gaethje to a degree as well.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel this way about a lot of them. Like, most of the time, like, you're dealing with the high level pros. They're going to make weight. They're going to look, in shape. They're mostly going to look the same. Sometimes, there's a rare one, like a Jalen Turner. Like, is this the end of him at that weight class? He looked, it was a tough cut for him. You get pockets of this, but most of the time it's pretty cut and dry, rote type stuff. This one, I'm interested. I want to see what kind of happens this week. So, yeah, I'm excited about all of it.
I'm excited for the crew to experience a big fight week. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, I'm excited that we're doing it with DAZN, who are obviously broadcasting the event. I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of it. I mean, what a big week. What a big week, dude, as far as boxing is concerned, from Spence Crawford in Vegas to this.
What a big last, what it'll be, 11 days starting from yesterday morning with Inoue all the way through Jake Paul, Nate Diaz.
It's crazy.
Throw in 291 while you're at it. UFC Nashville as well will be happening the same day. A lot going on in combat sports.
And then shortly thereafter, Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley.
Yes. Oh.
I mean, just the
booming.
Booming.
First stop, Wild Bill's Western Store. We're all getting cowboy hats.
That's the plan, yeah.
That's the plan.
Chaps as well?
I'm down.
Boots, Spurs. I'm down for it all.
Spurs? Do we get Spurs? Yeah? Is that what it's called?
On the back of them?
Yeah.
You're a local, Frank.
My first trip to Texas.
Well, this will actually be my first trip to Texas.
That is crazy to me. You've never been to Texas?
Never been to Texas.
Wow.
Can't wait.
Are you happy that your first trip to Texas is Dallas? Were you hoping it would be in Austin, a South by Southwest type of thing?
I have never taken the time to even think about my first trip to Texas.
Will you buy any Dallas Stars merch while you're out there?
Who knows?
On
Maybe
like
I already
Nagano
got Dallas
jersey.
We have a
Stars
saying
on the
down there.
Merch on the way.
Oh, really?
All cowboy,
Maybe.
no cattle.
Not confirming anything.
By the way, if
all
you
cowboy, no cattle.
Yeah, so just be careful to, not go too crazy.
I am going to get a hat. No doubt. Getting a hat. We'll wear it as much as I can.
I think you should need to wear it all fight week.
You just can't wear it indoors.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be a gentleman, of course.
What you need is a tie. You need to get the
bolo
tie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a great shout.
Yeah. Wild Bill's Western Store. That'll get us sorted.
There
Proper
it is.
sorted.
Go check it out. Maybe they can sponsor us as well if they want. But this is very exciting. So on the road once again, first time, 6 years, just the second time ever. And if you are a longtime fan of the show, you'll remember just how much fun Mayweather McGregor was on the road with our shows. We did a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday series of shows, and also did the beat from there. So in total, I think it was 4 shows. Had a crazy amount of guests stop by, all kinds of people from Carrot Top to Isaiah Thomas, Stephen A., Skip Bayless. We had, remember that stretch? I mean, that was crazy. The late Stephen Bonner and Phil Baroni were on together. That was wild. Isaiah Thomas kind of like broke news. We got on PTI afterwards because the other Isaiah Thomas got traded the day before. to the, what was it, the Cavs, right, for Kyrie Irving. Just a crazy time. Crazy time. In the midst of all of that, John Jones popped. I called Daniel Cormier. He didn't know. I called Daniel Cormier from the media center on the first day in Las Vegas. The media center was like Super Bowl media center, and it just come through that John Jones had popped a month and a half after their fight. And I called him and told him the news, and he's like, shut up, stop lying, and then hung up on me, and eventually got the belt back because of that. I mean, that was a crazy time. Crazy. All right, can't wait to the questions. Do you think I could get to all of these in 10 minutes, Frank?
I think we should play the intro again.
Are you serious for editing purposes? Who cares? Just keep all that in there.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alex Weber up first. Wow, haven't heard from Alex in quite some time. A-Dub. On Monday, as you explained the evolution of MMA heavyweights becoming more well-rounded, I drew a comparison to what we have witnessed in the NBA with the evolution of big men into perimeter shooters. Both evolutions showcase the importance of adaptability and skill diversity. But which transformation do you think has been more impactful in their respective sports? This question was written with the help of ChatGPT. What? Why? Also, moderator Lewis sends me this in a first for OTN. ChatGPT helped form a queue. A-Dub sent the receipts below. He wrote, write a short comparison of the evolution of the big men centers in the NBA now being perimeter shooters to the heavyweights in UFC that are well-rounded. Highlight the comparison above and end with a question of which evolution has been more impactful to the respective sport. By the way, to me, it takes longer to write that up than to just ask the question.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Okay. In any event, I think that the evolution of the big man in the NBA is a lot more drastic. You got a 7'4" guy, shooting 3-pointers and, taking the ball up from the top of the key and trying to beat guys off the dribble. We have seen versions of Tom Aspinall in the likes of Cain Velasquez and Frank Mir. We have seen that version before. And yes, there have been big men who like to shoot, but the KDs and then the Kristapses and the Wembanyamas and so many others, like the big man center, a la Hakeem Olajuwon, a la Ralph Sampson, a la Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a la Patrick Ewing, a la David Robinson. Those guys don't really exist. There are some here and there. In fact, I would argue that New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers have a couple of big men who play more of that style, right? I don't think that it is. I mean, I don't want to say I don't think. I know it is not as common in today's NBA. The evolution of the heavyweight is a thing that is happening, but there are still old school heavyweights. There's still, guys who fought the same way the heavyweights fought 5 or 6 years ago. Aspinall to me is just a bit of a unicorn in that regard. It's all a question, but I'll go with the NBA. Emerson, good afternoon, Ariel. If you had to only watch one fight this weekend, which one are you picking? I'd love if the whole crew would chime in on this. Also, okay, let me get to the also in a moment. Man, that's a tough one. Let me ask you guys this, in particular, GC and Rick, and maybe I'll start with Rick here. Do you like when there are these weekends, and they aren't as common these days? I feel like boxing and MMA try to stay apart, at least like the mega ones. We all remember what happened at UFC 244, right, with Diaz and Masvidal, and Canelo's in the freaking locker room taking a nap because they didn't want to go head to head. And I think they learned their lesson from that, but it doesn't happen too often. Do you like this sort of thing? Do you like the chaos? Do you like trying to see if it'll all time out and we're able to watch in the pockets of inactivity? Or would you prefer them to be on separate weekends and all your attention can be on one particular event?
Couldn't hate it more.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hate, despise. Like, there's a lot of MMA, there's a lot of boxing, there's a lot of fights right now that I don't even want to give like half my attention. These are two fights, the main events in particular, that I want to give 100% of my attention to, and now it has to be diverted. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely hate it, and yeah, just not great. And selfishly, from a social perspective, like I have work to do during these events and things like that. So now I have to like bounce back and forth. It's difficult to then give it attention. So selfishly and objectively, hate it. Absolute hate.
GC?
Yeah, I love the huge weekends when there's a lot going on, but the difficulty with this is that there's a very good chance that Spence Crawford and Poirier Gaethje are going to be overlapping at some point, and that I hate it because you want to have 100% attention on both, even if you got the dual TVs. Like it would almost be like there was 2 Super Bowls going on. Like both fights are so huge, both are more than likely going to be very exciting. So like it's tough to give the attention to both at the same time.
Yeah,
you have to choose one though.
There is a part of me that likes the chaos. In this particular instance, because I'll actually be working at one of them, it makes it a little bit tougher. If I was home, I wouldn't mind it as much. But ultimately, I'd rather they not be on at the same time, just so that you can sit back and focus on one, listen to the commentary. You're going to have to choose, right? You're going to have to choose. If I had to pick one, though, golly, I don't even know. I don't know, man.
I'll stick my neck out. If I have to pick one, it's going to be Spence Crawford. And it doesn't come down to like, look, those two are whoever wins this is going to be the pound for pound best boxer in the world. Like that's like in a ways in the conversation after the performance. Obviously, there's Canelo is always in the conversation. Usyk, like there's names, Stevenson, guys like that. But the winner of this is going to be the top pound for pound fighter. And big boxing fights are just better than big MMA fights. It's a stance I have, and it's never steered me wrong. Like the very cream of the crop of boxing is better than the cream of the crop at MMA, which I do feel that Poirier and Gaethje is the cream of the crop in MMA. It edges it out slightly for me. I just prefer the biggest boxing fights feel bigger and feel like the biggest thing happening. But as I said before, it was booked. Now that it's booked, and now that it's here, Poirier and Gaethje is the fight I wanted to see in MMA the absolute most. It's my number one. But that's how good Crawford and Spence is. It is.
No, it's a good answer. Crawford Spence is a generational fight. It's hopefully going to be a fight that people are going to be talking about forever and ever. And it probably gets the nod in this regard because we've never seen it before. We have seen Poirier Gaethje before. That shouldn't usually, dock at any points, but there's a freshness to it, and plus everything that went into it. I'm gonna fucking sit on the fence on this one. It's two amazing fights. It really is. Maybe I'll dock Poirier Gaethje another point for the BMF fugaziness.
I'll actually add a point to Poirier Gaethje for the BMF belt being on the line. I don't know why we say fugaziness there. Plus, another thing to back up Poirier Gaethje, I'm sure Spence Crawford is going to be very exciting, and I have a good feeling it's going to deliver. Poirier Gaethje, I have zero doubt.
Yeah.
It is going to be fireworks. There is almost no chance, other than an early knockout, that these guys don't deliver. There's been nothing in their careers that has given us any evidence that is not going to just be an absolute banger, war, all-out brawl. So that's another point for it. But everything you guys said about Spence Crawford is also correct.
You are way too new here. You just completely ruined Saturday.
There's no way.
It is going
there are some fights that are impervious to that.
An
what are they going to do?
Bomb.
They're going to stand and stare at each other? Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje? Battle of the Austins?
Nah, it's not going to happen.
I can't believe this just happened.
Wow, superstitious, huh?
I just hope they don't happen at the exact same time. I hope there's a world where, and I think Spence Crawford will happen before the 291 main event. But yeah, it's not going to be easy to go back and forth. And I wish everyone could watch Poirier Gaethje, and I wish everyone could watch Spence Crawford. Like of all the nights, why do they have to be on at the same time? But them's the breaks. That's how it goes. I did just see something right now which breaks my heart, and I do want to mention because of course she had a connection to a very famous UFC fight back in 2015. The legendary Sinead O'Connor has passed away, the unbelievable singer from Dublin. I just saw this. Did you know this, Frank?
No, you're breaking the news for me.
She has died at the age of 56. That is horrible. This is from RTE, no, it's from the Irish Times. Does it say how? Survived by her 3 children. Oh, her son Shane died last year at age 17. Golly. You'll recall that she sang the Foggy Dew song as Conor McGregor was walking out. prior to the Chad Mendes fight at UFC 189 in Las Vegas International Fight Week. So that is very sad news. Didn't she sing the song? Did she sing the Nothing Compares? Did she sing that song?
Yeah, Nothing Compares to You.
Was that her?
Yeah.
Legend. Shaved her head. That was a really big deal. Back
Saturday
in the
Night
90s.
Live.
She was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, she made a point to point out the stuff going on with the Catholic Church, and they tried to shut it down, but she was one of the first people to try to expose that.
Yes. So that is very sad news, and our condolences to her family. Back to the question, had to pick. By the way, GC, are you going with Poirier Gaethje?
Yeah, since y'all are both going Spence Crawford, I'll go Poirier Gaethje.
All right, there you have it. Also, is the Bloodline cinema the best since The Undertaker versus Edge and Vicky Guerrero SmackDown era? Y'all are the best. Much love. I never miss an episode. Bloodline is a gazillion times better than that. I mean, that barely registers for me. You put the Bloodline in there with like the NWO and Austin and The Rock and Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. That's where the Bloodline goes. Undertaker, Edge, Vicky Guerrero, SmackDown. What? Not even close. Solid, but no, not in the stratosphere. Bloodline stuff is great. If you're not watching, you're missing out on some tremendous cinema. Let me go. Do I go to another question or?
No.
Our guest is sort of here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to 2, Frank. How do you think? Is that a record for us? No, actually, there was one time where I did
a great job.
One time I did a question, like 1 hour on one question, right?
Yeah. Those are always fun.
Yeah, those are fun.
All right. On the nose.
I'm going to put a pin in this because, my friends, this is very exciting stuff. A lot of people, when I posted this morning, were like, there's no way. And if I'm being honest, I kind of thought the same. But here we are, about to say hello for the first time in, I think, 6 or so years, that we get to say hello to the legendary, the future Hall of Famer for his own career. Obviously, he went in right before his last fight on July 8th for the fight against Roy McDonald, but he certainly deserves it for everything that he did on his own. He is the former UFC champion, the former Strikeforce champion and fighter, former Elite XC champion as well. What an unbelievable legend! What a living legend! What a talent, and what a moment it was on July 8th when he was able to walk in there against Nico Price and beat him, and then have that send-off, which I said was maybe the greatest in UFC history. They had the video package, the emotion, everything that went into it. It was tremendous stuff. Here he is, without further ado, ruthless Robbie Lawler. Robbie, how are you?
What's up? I'm good. How you guys doing? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I can't believe you're doing the show. I know how much you love doing interviews, so I'm a little bit shocked right now. I'm at a loss for words. I'm stumbling on my words because I'm so nervous before this.
Yeah, I don't do these very often, but I guess now's the time, right?
Yes, I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for doing this. Are you over July 8th? I mean, that was emotional stuff. Have you come to, it's been a couple of weeks now, but are you still feeling the buzz from how special, magical that weekend was?
No, I'm like on to the next thing. It's hard for me to like stay in that mindset and like absorb that. But I mean, it was a good event. But now it's like, what next?
Yeah. How quickly did you kind of get over it? Was it like Monday morning, you were like, all right, back to normal life?
Yeah, pretty much. I think a buddy of mine sent like I don't know, like some sort of article that was written, and I was like reading. It was a good article, but I was like, I don't need to read this. Like, I'm glad people appreciate what I've done, but like I'm kind of on to the next one. I'm not like, that's just how I am. I'm not really going to change anything. Just bring that same mindset to coaching, and that's it. I'm on to the next.
In terms of all the love and admiration and attention on you that week, did it make you feel uncomfortable?
No, it didn't make me feel uncomfortable. It was one of those things that I would never like allow myself to kind of look back at like my career, because I'm like always on to the next. But like when a couple times I got asked a couple questions, kind of like, about that whole road. And I was like, oh man, it's freaking been a long ride. And like just seeing who I've become over that long time span, it was a lot. I've never really allowed myself to focus on what I've accomplished or those types of things, because it's like, all right, on to the next thing. How can you get better? How can you sharpen your skills? Like that's kind of always been my mindset, and I always try to just keep level headed, and so I don't really go ups and downs with admiration and fans being excited about me, because I just keep everything just so focused. And it's just different to allow myself to let that in a little bit for that last fight.
In retrospect, you wish you did that more throughout your career? You know, take it all in, smell the roses, all that stuff.
No, not really, because I would be who I am today. But it's just like one of those things where I use that as like a mechanism to stay level headed and kind of like be able to stay who I am this whole time. Like, because you never know if you're going to win or lose, or sometimes the crowd's behind you, sometimes the fans are behind you, and sometimes you're not doing well. So like, doesn't matter what anyone's saying, it just matters where I'm going and what I think about myself. And that's kind of what I've always focused on. It's like, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't really care what people say about me. That's just how I've always been. Cause it's just like, I can't control that, but I can control like my preparation and where I'm going and where I'm headed. So that's what I've always tried to focus on. But it's definitely nice that the fans appreciate everything I've done. And it's definitely weird for me to not be doing it anymore. I mean, this has been my life for so many years, and I've just put so much into this, and the sport's given so much to me, and so plan on giving back.
And I want to ask you about that in a moment, but I'm just curious, like you always struck me as the kind of guy who would retire by just like walking away and disappearing, not really telling us in advance so that all this hullabaloo could be made and all this attention could be made. But why did you decide? I mean, you didn't really announce it. I think the UFC kind of said it on your behalf, but to let us know beforehand, as opposed to like kind of doing it out of nowhere so that everyone could be caught off guard.
Yeah, that was my plan. Just kind of just like be gone. And, but I just felt like this wasn't kind of about me a little bit. I mean, it's my career, but it's like, I feel like the fans and the people around me and people who supported me would want a little bit more. So I let Dana know a month or two before the fight, and he said, all right. So and that's where it went. I just knew I wouldn't, you know me, I'm just kind of like whatever, I'm done kind of thing. And Dana put together something really good, really special for me. And I'm happy that they did.
I was wondering how you felt about the Hall of Fame stuff. I mean, I've never seen you stand up there and give a speech like that before, and you did a great job. How comfortable did you feel up there doing that 2 days before your fight?
I would say it was definitely weird for me. I would say that prompter in front of me was moving fast, but really it was like cliff notes anyway. So it was like, all right, make sure I touch on anyone who helped me for this fight or that. So I already had everything kind of, I knew what I was going to say about each individual. So it was definitely weird for me to be up there, and it seemed like it went so fast. But I mean, I'm sure the more times you do stuff, the better you get. So maybe I just need more practice in front of a prompter.
No, you did a great job. I just didn't know if you, as great of a moment as it was, I didn't know if you felt like it was a nuisance because you're trying to get ready for battle, right? Your last fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what happened was I knew this was going to happen. I wasn't sure. I didn't ask any questions. So I knew this was going to be my last fight, and I wanted to enjoy it. So I got my weight down early. Just was professional about it. So I didn't have to worry about anything. So then they were like, hey, we're just going to record your speech on Wednesday. And I was like, what? I was like, then I went there and they were going to record. I was like, why do they want me to do this? Well, we just figured you wanted to. I'm like, yeah. And then they kind of explained the whole process of it. And then I was like, yeah, I want to be involved. I'd be taking the picture with all the other Hall of Famers up there. It was definitely a good experience. And I wanted to be there for Jen's. I slept on his couch many times. I was a roommate of his. I mean, I'm very excited about him getting into the Hall of Fame, and I just wanted to be a part of it and enjoy it. So, yeah, I was all good. I mean, I've cut weight so many times. Just easy for me.
Any part of you kind of wish that Rory was there as well?
Yeah, it would have been nice, but that's not who he is right now. He's kind of a lot like me. He kind of like stays out of the limelight, just wants to go out there, fight, and kind of hang out with his family and relax. But I understand, but it'd been nice to see him there. I mean, but whatever.
Yeah, it's all good. No, yeah, he's completely. I think he like deleted his social media and whatnot, so he's completely like off the map. And more power to him. It was wild to see you as you were walking into the cage and to see the emotion on your face. Have you ever experienced anything like that right before a fight?
No, not really, because it was more like, all right, let's enjoy this, let's embrace this moment, and this is the last time. Just kind of like enjoying it. It's been a long road, and just trying. I mean, sometimes you're just so focused on the fight. I was more focused on every aspect of this, like just walking in there, feeling the crowd, listening to Buffer do his stuff. So it's just like, yeah, I've never done that because I'm always focused on just fighting and how I feel.
Were you worried that the emotions would affect you at all in a negative way?
No. I didn't feel that good going into that whole week or this whole camp, but like I was trying to take a nap about 2:00 before the fight, and then something popped in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. That's it. Just something popped in my head, and I'm like, oh, I got this. I feel good. So then, like, in the back, I just felt good. Like, all of a sudden, everything clicked, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel great. So this guy's in trouble.
When you say something popped in your head, what do you mean by that?
Just like a positive, like affirmation, just like something really good. I was like, oh, this is freaking okay. I'm good. Just like, because I was actually trying to take a nap and like do some recovery stuff. And I'm like, as soon as that popped in my head, I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm ready to go. And just rode that into the fight, really.
Were you stressed at all because of the last, like you wanted to go out with a win, right?
Yeah, definitely want to go out with a win, but I wanted to feel good going in. It was like, all right, like if I feel good, anybody's in trouble. That's how I always look at it. So I'm like, oh man, my freaking body's not feeling this or that. And it's like, all right, I feel great. And then that's really what it was. That's why I always like, everyone's always focused on the other guy. I've always been focused on myself. If I feel great, then I think I'm going to do well. It's like and if you don't feel great, then you just still have to figure out how to get the job done. So it's like, that's always been my focus, how I feel, how I need to get the job done with whatever my issue is.
Your walkout song has become one of the best. Hold On, I'm Coming. You didn't walk out to that this time. How come?
Yeah. I don't know. Just kind of like different phases, different songs. I just felt like the Last Mohicans songs, just how it is. End of an era, just like how it is. I mean, just that's the feel I had.
Did you expect, like in the back of your mind, did you think it would be that quick? Did you feel like that was a strong possibility?
I had no idea really, because I didn't really watch much tape on him. I just kind of worked on myself. But then when I was like moving and I felt how hard I was punching in the back, and I was like, okay. And then when I was moving during the fight, I'm like, okay, like, let's not give this guy a chance to like get going. And then I just kind of like went at it and went well. I just landed some good shots on the right spots, and I still have power.
The finish was great. Your post-fight reaction was probably even better for people who've been watching you for a long time. Could you possibly put into words, like when it sunk in, that's how your final fight ended, and now like it's all coming to an end, and the emotion that you should, like, could you put into words how you were feeling in that moment and the love that you were getting from the crowd too?
I think it was more a thing of gratitude for like everything that I've accomplished and everything that I've been able to do, and just being on that stage this late in my career and everything I went through. It was kind of like when I was on the ground, kind of on my knees, it was like just feeling grateful for being blessed to be able to accomplish everything have done, and just everything that I have in life was hard work, but just being grateful for it is that was really the moment, just seeing it, feeling it, and feeling good.
Did you know that they were going to play that video package while you were in the cage?
No, I had no idea. I guess my wife was like, "Hey, there's this video. You want to watch it?" I'm like, "Oh no." That was like earlier in the week. I'm like, "No, I don't really care about anything." But so it's actually better that I didn't watch it. So yeah, I had no ideas. It was actually funny just to see like how I progress and like just different fights, and kind of cool.
Yeah.
Really cool, actually.
Very cool. Like they never do that for anyone. And I mean, it was just like they'll sometimes play it as you're walking out, but like you being in the cage with Rogan and everyone getting to watch it with you, that was super rare stuff. And very, appropriate and deserving. And I know you know that, right? Like this doesn't happen. And so I was wondering what you were thinking in the moment. Like probably you're watching it, but all eyes were on you and you're getting emotional as well. Did you enjoy it? Were you hoping that it would end? Like, because I know you never really loved that sort of stuff, and so here you are, like everyone's just showering you with love.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of like embracing the moment. It's actually really good because it just like able to see my career from start to finish with different highlights. Is like, man, just remembering like, because I don't really I don't look back at my career like, remember that time, remember this. When I look back at my career, I don't really remember these fights. I remember people I've seen and like stuff I did for those camps, people who helped me, but just like to see some of those things and just be reminded of like some of these moments. And I just laugh at myself when I had hair, just like how wild I used to fight, just like how not refined I was, and just it's cool.
It was
really
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm just wondering, that went so well. Was there any part of you afterwards just like, man, maybe I have one or two left in me?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have more left in me. It's one of those things where it's like you figure it out. I just can't do as much as I used to is the thing. Like I can't train the way I want to train. Like when I'm like the guy who likes to do extra. And like now it's like, hey, just relax. You know how to fight. Let's just get you to the fight. So that's the hard part for me, because I'm like, I like to work. I like to work out. I like to lift. I like to do all these things. And I have this checklist, and that checklist is too much.
When did it become too much? Like, when did you start to feel like the body was not, reacting like it once did?
Well, it reacts fine. It's just that I just can't like do these 3 days, these 4 days, these long days. I mean, I can, but then I'm out for a day or two and have to rest, and I'm not recovered. So just finding that balance and realizing, hey, you don't need to do that much. You don't. So it's just those types of things. As you get older, you just figure out a way to get the job done. And it's more of a mindset. A lot of times you're working out to make sure you're ready. And I realized during this camp, hey man, you're ready. Let's just be good on that Saturday. That's it. You only need to be really good on that Saturday. So like, go through the motions, try to sharpen everything up, but really it only matters how good you are on that Saturday.
You know what it's like in combat sports? People retire all the time and they come back. Can you say definitively you'll never fight again?
Yeah, no, I'm a fighter. I'm never gonna say that. It's just like, but I'm in a good place, and I mean, you never know, but I feel good.
Okay.
I feel good, and I mean, I'm not training. I mean, I'm lifting, I'm running, I'm keeping myself in shape, but yeah, I don't see it happening.
You don't think that you'll get that itch in a year or two and say, maybe one more, a boxing match, something like that?
Yeah, I'm not going to say no, but because you never know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel great, and I know how to train at my old age to be ready for one day.
Right.
And be sharp for one day. So, I mean, and it's always fun. That's actually what I enjoy about sports in general is how can you be as good as you can for a certain day and a certain bout, or how can you, I love tweaking things and like being a scientist of my own freaking body and like trying to, all right, I need to have this, I need to do this, and like figuring out a way to get the job done. And it's like nutrition, it's recovery. So I'm always going to be doing those things. So nothing's really changing in that aspect. I'm just doing it for the fun of it.
And so is the next step for you coaching? Is that what you're going to be doing primarily now?
Yeah, just coaching at Kill Cliff FC, a lot of good fighters. I mean, I didn't get where I am today by not getting help from good coaches and good training partners. So it's just giving them a little technique and a little push here and there so that make their life a little easier and use my knowledge to help others.
Will you be looking after a certain set of fighters or just kind of available for everyone? Like, how does that work over there at the gym?
I mean, I'll help everyone really, but it's like, how much effort am I going to put into a guy has to do with him and his abilities and how much he's ready to absorb and if he's willing to absorb. So it's like finding that balance, and like different guys like different coaches and different things. So it's like figure out what each fighter needs, something different. So like if I can help somebody, I will. If I can't, then I'll stay away. It's just one of those things, just like a fight, like figuring out, tweaking, and making yourself a better coach and trying to make these guys better fighters.
Just want to ask you a couple of things about your career, and then I'll let you go. Again, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. You may not have an answer, but just curious, do you have a favorite knockout? I have a favorite one of yours that I would be happy to share, but do you have a favorite knockout?
Not really, no.
Melvin Manhoef to me is, I mean, like the way your leg was going there in that fight, and then you coming back, and to me it's Manhoef and Matt Lindland. Those two are 1 and 2, and honestly, like 2 of my top 10 favorite, both of them. But if I had to pick one, it'd be Melvin Manhoef.
Yeah, that's really. I actually like the Lindland one too. My hands were feeling pretty good then, but yeah, that Manhoef was a rough fight for a little bit.
Your leg, like, did that kill the way your leg was going, like all the way up here?
Yeah, it was. I was just going with it because I mean, he's kicking so hard. That was before I really knew how to check kicks, and I didn't expect him. I expected hands first, and then him to finish with legs. He started with legs first and then finished with hands. So I had to get surgery, tore my meniscus after that fight. But it was like the first couple times I'm like, okay. And when I felt it like crunch, I was like, took a step. I'm like, okay, I can walk. We're good. Let's keep going. You're just like assessing the whole time. Like, okay, yep, you're good. Like everything's attached. Everything's fine.
That is unbelievable. The Strikeforce run was interesting. Like that's when you started to grow out the hair and the beard and everything. And there was the one scene where you were sleeping at the press conference, and it just sort of felt like the motivation wasn't there before you got to the UFC. What would have happened if the UFC didn't buy Strikeforce and you weren't able to find your way back? Do you think that the career would have ended sooner?
No, I don't think the career would have ended sooner. It would have been different. I mean, because I enjoyed fighting. I did not enjoy waking up to go to a press conference when I wanted to be sleeping so that they could ask questions to everyone. Actually, just, I think, Fedor.
Yeah.
So, like, everyone's there, and it's like, okay, I don't care then, but I'm tired. But, yeah, it's just, like, not a good look anyways. Unprofessional, but, I mean, you live and learn.
Yeah. But Would it have bothered you if you never got that UFC title?
I don't think it would have, but everything aligned at the right time. It was funny because I was outside the UFC, just like having fun, training, and just watching everyone in the UFC. Like, okay, I match up good against this guy, I match up good against that guy. That's where I want to be. So it was going to happen eventually, but it's kind of weird when you're on the outside looking in. It was like they were at a disadvantage because I was watching them. They weren't really, I don't doubt they were really paying attention to me. I was like, okay, like, just wait until I go back down to 170 and see. So blessings. I mean, it's just how it worked out.
One of my favorite underrated moments of yours happened just a couple of years ago. I haven't talked to you since. Just wanted to ask you about the moment after you fought Nick Diaz again. It was caught on camera. You just sort of asking him, "Are you good?" And I love that moment because it was like from one fighter to another, just asking another if they're doing well. Can I ask you what you remember from that moment and why you felt the need to ask him that question in the cage right after the fight?
I don't know. It just felt like the right time. I mean, I've always had respect for Diaz. Like he just comes to fight, and it was like he had been out for so long, coming back, and there's talk about issues or this and that, and it's like, all right, like the fighting's gonna be done. Like it's like win or lose, but how are you doing, kind of thing. And I just wanted him to know, and I wanted to know, like, are you good? Is there anything I can do to help you, kind of thing, or collaborate on anything? And I mean, that's just how sports should be. I mean, it's all about respect in the end. I believe martial arts. I think life, really, it's like all about respect. You go out there, you freaking go to battle, you freaking do your best, and when the game or the fight's over, that's it. Like let's go back to living our lives and trying to be good people, right?
And I know you said that you always went like fight to fight, but just curious, if we would have talked, in the early 2000s, you're a teenager, you're sleeping on Jen's couch, you're in Iowa, all that stuff. And I would have told you, like, man, it's going to be a Hall of Fame career. You're going to be a UFC champion. You're going to get all these fights, 22 years, like the whole run. Would you have believed, like, did you even allow yourself to believe this? Did you think of this? Did you dream of this? Or has this like completely blown away anything that you thought of back then?
I would have looked at you and just been like, okay, like kind of like, but really I knew who I was. I always knew who I was, and I knew my abilities, and it was, how can I go out there and show people who I am as a fighter and be the best I could be. And that's really what the process was about for me. And it was the Rory fight. I mean, push comes to shove, is a freaking battle, but he brought the best out of me, and I was able to show everyone who I was, skill-wise, heart-wise, and it's just always who I knew I was. Even at that age, like, people would be like, oh, that guy's this and this, and I was like, I know who I am. Like, just wait. That's kind of my mindset, is like, just wait. But really, I didn't really care. I just wanted to make money and be a kid and fight and train and wrestle and just do what I enjoy, which was train to fight and everything around it.
Well, you did all that, my man. Congrats on a great career. Truly honored to cover you and watch all those fights all over the world and everything that you did. There was never a boring Robbie Lawler fight. You always brought it. So congrats. What a moment on International Fight Week. You deserve that. And thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. Again, I know you don't love doing these, but this was a real treat. And I really enjoyed it a lot. So thanks for everything, Robbie. And good luck with the coaching now. And hopefully we'll see you at the events for many years to come.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
All right. There he is, the great Robbie Lawler, ruthless Robbie Lawler. What a legend. And what a great chat. That was so lovely. I really enjoyed that a lot. And yeah, that might have been my favorite Robbie Lawler interview after all these years. The first time I think I spoke to him was 2009 for Jerry Park. And here we are in 2023, talking about the end of his career. That was tremendous stuff. Really, really enjoyed that. Thank you to his manager, Dave Martin, for that as well. One guy whose career is not coming to an end anytime soon is Nathaniel Wood. What a big win for him this past weekend in London. What a great run he has been on since his move to 145. He had the big win over Andre Fili on Saturday at the O2. A nice, solid, hard-fought, unanimous decision win. He's kind enough to join us right now. Let's go to London and say hello to Nathaniel Wood. Hello, Nathaniel. How are you doing? Thanks for the time.
I'm very well, thank you, Ariel. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Yes, it's a pleasure. And I know that your sister got married on Monday. And you were a little banged up. How were the photos with all the wear and tear on the face?
Luckily, I had the shades, so that covered the black eyes. But I had to wear my UFC sliders, my sandals, because my feet wouldn't fit in the shoes. So
oh my gosh!
She was a little bit annoyed, but she said, you got the win, so that's all that matters. And yeah, it was a good day regardless. So it was nice.
Just curious, at any point in that 15-minute war, did the thought of your sister's wedding come in your mind for like a brief second? Like, oh man, my sister's going to be mad at me. Did that ever come in, or were you so locked in?
She's probably not watching this, so no, It didn't come into my mind. That was the last thing I was worried about. All I was focused on is the fight. So, yeah, in a way, that came first.
Okay. Your thoughts on your performance in the fight? You both hit each other with some heavy shots. Both were rocked. I know you said afterwards the second round, he dazed you quite well. Overall, were you happy with what you did out there? And did you think that it was going to be in your favor? It was close, but it was unanimous in your favor. Did you think that it would be a unanimous decision once they went to the judges' scorecards?
Yeah, so I knew in the fight, obviously after the third round, I knew that I had the first and the third round. I knew that the second round I lost it. There's no way that I'm getting that one. But I knew without a doubt the first was mine. I was pretty confident that the third was mine as well. So the performance, the pros and the cons, obviously I got caught. And a lot of people, have been saying, oh, you haven't got a chin and all that. But if you watch the fight back, most people would have been out from that shot. He landed that hook straight on my jaw, clean as anything, and I was still going. I was still able to fight through it and get the win. For me, I'm proud of that. I feel like that's a positive to take, that I can take a dig like that and still win the fight and still keep going. I would have liked to have obviously got him out in the first round when I did catch him. I wanted to put a statement to the UFC that not only can I hang in with the 145ers, I can also finish him. And I was a bit gutted that obviously I didn't get that. But, 3 fights at featherweight, 3 decisions, it's given me plenty of octagon time, if you like. And I'm happy to get that experience under my my belt.
And I would imagine the answer is yes, but just curious, because, some of these guys at 145 are big boys. Do you feel 100% certain that 145 is the best weight class for you?
110%.
Okay. No, and I'm sure you love life, right, at 145 as opposed to 135, right?
Yeah, so if I'm honest, mate, it's something I've been thinking of doing for a very long time. I actually fought on Bellator 7 years ago at featherweight and won, had no issues whatsoever. It's something that in the gym, I struggle with the flyweights more than I do the featherweights when I was a bantamweight.
Wow.
And the reason is because the flyweights match my speed. So, of course, if you have a Khabib-style opponent, someone that's going to drag you down, lay on you, beat you up, that kind of style, that's a style where, you don't really want to give away too much weight. But when it comes to striking, I feel that being the smaller guy is the advantage, especially when it comes to the boxing, being in the pocket, punching up as opposed to punching down. It's easier to defend takedowns because being 5'6", like Volkanovski, my opponents have to go lower. They have to shoot a lot lower than they would against someone that's 5'11", let's say. The speed, not only have I got the speed advantage in my hands and kicks on the striking department, my reactions I just feel are so much quicker when I'm against the featherweights as opposed to the flyweight/bantamweights. So I feel that people look at the weight too much and they kind of forget that, look, weight's great when it comes to the grappling department, but you still have to get the person down. You still have to get a hold of them. you know. And if I'm moving around pretty fast and I'm seeing where people are coming from, you know, I feel like I'm in the Matrix almost, you know. I feel like I can see things before they've even thrown them, except for Andre Fili's hook, of course. That came out of nowhere and got me bad. So, but yeah, you know, the proof's in the pudding. I've had 3 fights at featherweight now, 3 wins, you know, 2 dominant wins and 1 that was a bit back and forth, you know. And I don't feel that in any of those fights have I struggled with anything to do with weight or size. And mate, I'm able to live a good life and have a proper fight camp. Right. I'm tired of the days where I was killing myself just to make weight. You know, I wasn't even focused on my opponents. All I would be focused on in training is how many calories can I burn, how much weight can I make, and it's not fun, mate. You know, it really isn't. So unless the UFC said to me, you're going to fight 135, but it's going to be a $1 million fight. It's for the belt. It's something special. I'm not going back down to 135. You know, I'd rather go and get a job and hang up the gloves, because I kind of was despising the sport, if you like.
Wow,
when I was going to
that much you hated it that much that you would walk away.
100%, yeah. Unless obviously it's big fights, you know, where they say fight once or twice a year. But I like to fight, and I want to fight 3-4 times a year at least, and I can't do that at bantamweight. For me to make bantamweight was taking me 12 weeks, you know. You saw the video where I had veins all over my body. I must have been 4% body fat, and I still had 7 kilos to cut, you know. And I'm not one of these guys that can cut 6 kilos in water weight, you know. For me to lose 3.5 kilos in the sauna, it once took me 6.5 hours, and mate, that will send anyone mental. You know, that stuff's hard.
By the way, side note, is there anything near the computer there's like a popping sound when you're talking? Is there anything that would be causing that?
No, nothing. It's just me here.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Frank, what should we do? I just don't want... Frank, any...
Well, we need to persevere, so for now.
Or should we reconnect real fast?
We could do that.
Do you mind if we reconnect? Just because I don't want to ruin the interview. It's just popping when you speak. So we'll call you right back. Let's just call him right back and see if that makes a difference. If not, we shall persevere. Thanks for overseeing that, Frank. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get him right back.
Talking to Nathaniel Wood, he's won 3 in a row, and he's looked very good at 145. Obviously, a mainstay whenever the UFC goes to London. A big part of their plans over there. Charles Rosa, Charles Jourdain, and Andre Fili are no slouches. Those are solid unanimous decision victories. Very solid. So I'm curious to see where he goes from here. 19-5, they call him the prospect. Obviously was the former Cage Warriors champion. A fan favorite because he is from London. And so we shall reconnect with him, fighting obviously out of Great Britain top team, with some good people over there as well. Brad Pickett, our old friend. Soon coming on the program at 3 o'clock in about 23 minutes from now, we'll be joined by Paulo Costa. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to talking to Bohashinia, and then we'll get to the rest of the questions. Of course, we only got through 2, unfortunately. We did make the big announcement.
2 good questions.
Yeah, well, it was the big announcement that took up a lot of the time. The big announcement that we'll be going to Dallas for Diaz-Paul Fight Week. How fun is that? I mean, that is big business right there, as they say.
Huge.
Yeah.
We're working on it. Saw that side eye.
Tremendous. Oh, that's good stuff. So yeah, there'll be a regular show on Monday. But then the Wednesday show, a week from now, will be from Dallas at the Open Workouts, which should be quite the scene. And as I said, open to the public. So there's going to be people around us, hopefully all nice people, all welcoming people. Hopefully no issues there. It's still always so weird when I look at my computer and I see an X in one of the tabs.
Yeah.
Like, what is this X thing that I'm...
Oh, that X. Yeah.
Yes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like,
it feels foreign.
Yes. Because it's like black. It doesn't feel like it.
When it changed on the app, it was pretty sad.
Was it sad? Were you sad about that?
I thought so. It just doesn't feel like Twitter. So
yeah.
I just remember, like Arab Spring, Twitter being at the instrumental, and now I feel like it's just kind of, it's crap, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know you felt that way, Frank.
Yeah.
Wow, crap. Well, it's very unfortunate, but them's the breaks sometimes. We'll go back to Nathaniel Wood, hopefully, in a matter of moments. He was right before the Molly McCann fight, and then everyone was very sad, and then Tom Aspinall showed up and sent the crowd home happy. And how about Tommy and John Jones on Tuesday, was it? Yes. John just going on a bit of a tweet rampage, and then all of a sudden, Tom giving him a bit of a taste of his own medicine. John loves to talk about people on Twitter, which is kind of his thing, and not at them. Just like he knows it's going to end up on their phone, go in their direction. He knows that people are going to see it, send it to the person that he's talking about. So he never ats. He used to do this with DC all the time. And Tom just writes, "John, chill out, mate." I don't know why that made me laugh so much. I thought that was hilarious. And so I feel like we're building some momentum here. I feel like things are happening. I feel like there's some buzz. I told you, Aspinall's going to be in that mix. And I feel like if he fights on the MSG card or around the MSG card, and John fights obviously on the MSG card and beats Stipe and Aspinall wins, I mean, that's a big time fight. That is a big time fight. And I feel like John's reaction to it all suggests that it's a big time fight. And I get what he's saying. Like, look, I've been here for well over a decade. I've got white hair on my chin. I'm a grizzled vet, and I still haven't lost officially. And so there's always going to be someone. But Tom's a little bit different. Feels like he's a little bit different. If he beats Tom, he will have cleaned out the division. There's always going to be that guy, obviously. But to me, there's a greater... The buzz for Aspinall Jones would be bigger than the buzz for Jones Pavlovich, in my opinion. I think that would be a bigger fight. Just because we don't know as much about Pavlovich, doesn't have that connection, that fan base. Aspinall is just, I don't know. I would love to see that fight. Golly, I would love to see it. But I stand by what I said on Monday. Aspinall Pavlovich might be the best non-title fight, or intriguing. The one that we haven't seen yet. Poirier Gaethje's great. We saw it. I just love that fight. Yes,
he's back.
Okay, let's go back. Nathaniel, you there? Oh, wow. What a difference.
I'm here.
Oh, this is
You're on my phone now.
This is a massive difference. I could see the bruising on your face, the cut and all that a lot clearer. This is very nice. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Big difference.
No problem.
All right. So now we have the three, and I saw what you said before the fight about, like, feeling like you're not really in the mix, in the party at 145. Do you feel like you are in the mix now? Do you feel like that was the performance that you needed to get into the mix?
I'm not sure. I kind of thought after that fight maybe I'd get ranked. It doesn't look like anything's changed. So I like to think that, people are taking notice of me now. But I feel that the top 15 will look at me as a risky fight with not enough reward. I think people are chasing them rankings, especially I am. And I think people know that I'm a tough fight. I don't think Fili got enough respect before that fight. I think Fili's a very very, very talented fighter. He's been in the UFC for 10 years. And, I think people are maybe kind of looking past that I just beat him. So, yeah, I feel like, I'm still kind of getting left out a little bit. But, they can leave me out as long as they like. I know that I'm going to climb that ladder, and it's inevitable that I'm going to get where I need to be.
So when the rankings came out yesterday, were you bummed when you weren't on there?
A little bit. I know the rankings don't mean tons, and, I don't know how it's worked. As far as I'm concerned, Andre Fili should have got the decision against Sadiq Youssef, and Sadiq Youssef's ranked, I think it was 13th or 12th. And, I'm not really kind of sure how everything goes on, but I kind of thought maybe I would have done enough by now. But if not, I'll keep chipping away at it. And, I'll never turn an opponent down. So whatever the UFC give me, then I'll step in there with.
You may not like this thought, and I will apologize in advance for saying it, but I do feel like the biggest fight next for you is Lerone Murphy. There's something there with you guys. Does that annoy you? I spoke to him on Monday about it. I don't know if you saw any of that. And I wasn't trying to stir the pot. I saw what you said as well about the media.
I didn't see it, honestly.
Okay, yeah, you were busy.
But,
you I know you had stuff going on with your family, but there's just something there that now I just really want to see you guys fight.
Yeah, for sure. That's an exciting fight that I would love to have. It's one that I asked for this card that had just gone. You know, I never asked for Andre Fili. I asked for Lerone Murphy. It didn't happen. It's a fight that makes sense, 100%. And I am all for it. Don't think it's going to happen, if I'm honest. I feel that maybe the UFC want us to both kind of work our way up the ladder and then maybe meet. If not, maybe next year, I'm sure they'll come to London again. Why can't we do a co-main event or main event, battle of the Brits, if you like. Obviously, we've got 3 guys from England, Arnold Allen, myself, and Lerone Murphy in them featherweight rankings. So why not see who the 2 are out of us? Because I know Arnold Allen's obviously up there in the I think ranked 4th. So yeah, me and Lerone, that would be nice, and it would be nice for us to be able to kind of put our money where our mouths are. But if it doesn't happen, I kind of wish Lerone all the best now. I'm a little bit past the kind of animosity, if you like. I did see him just before the fight, and I wished him good luck for his fight and stuff. So I don't feel like there's major bad blood there, but if the fight gets matched, I'm going to sign it straight away.
I thought for sure they'd match you guys up against each other on Saturday because you were supposed to fight in March, and there you both are on the card, ready to go. Why do you think they didn't do it now? Like, maybe I get what you're saying now. Like, maybe now they want to see you guys go in a different direction, but for the build up to Saturday, why don't you think they booked you guys?
I haven't got a clue. The only thing I can think is maybe they wanted to make it bigger than what it was. Obviously, we had a little kind of debate with each other. It wasn't even really that heated, but straight away the cameras were on. And I was thinking, where the hell did that camera come from? So maybe they're hoping that it can be bigger. Maybe it is. I'd like to think that in the UFC's mind, they're thinking, these 2 could be the main event next year. Let's build it up. Let's make it more special. Whether they actually are thinking about that, I have no idea. Maybe they literally just thought, right, Lerone can fight that guy and Nath can fight Andre Fili. I don't know. But that was the fight that my manager put forward and said, look, can we get Lerone Murphy? And next thing, he was matched with Josh, the guy he just fought. So I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know if obviously Lerone knows any more than I know. But yeah, that's the fight I was asking for.
So till this day, you still don't know who filmed that last week?
No, I saw the UFC guy.
Oh,
with the camera.
Oh,
but I didn't see what, like me and Lerone, we probably was chatting for a couple of minutes before the camera was there.
Got it.
But literally, obviously, I was kind of in the zone chatting to him, and then next thing in the corner of my eye, I'm like, oh, there's a guy with a camera now, and this has just made it feel like we need to like put some stage thing on, which obviously I don't. I'm not one of these kind of Colby Covington guys. Mate, what you see is what you get. If you see me having a row with someone, you can believe it's real. And I'm not going to put it on for the cameras,
Did that annoy you that was filmed?
I wouldn't say it annoyed me, but a part of me thought like, when they were doing it, I was like, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Because then I felt like we almost had to put something on, which we didn't. Neither me or Lerone, neither one of us kind of played that game. So I feel like they were trying to get something going, and obviously we shut them down. So, we didn't play that game, but, I understand. Oh, sorry.
We still have you
for a second. I get it. It's the entertainment business, and that's why my fights, I always, make sure that I put on a show to entertain. But yeah, I'm not that kind of let's fake talk trash, push each other in the corridors, So yeah, I wouldn't say it annoyed me, but I just felt like it was a bit unnecessary.
Okay. Yeah, and that's interesting because I feel like he's the same way. Like, he doesn't really like the trash talk and all that stuff. You're both kind of similar in that regard. I just think
I don't like people stirring the pot.
Yeah.
So I said something on one of my interviews, and I'm not sure who it was, a lady interviewer stirred it and went and told him that I said something and kind of changed it a little bit. And that's the sort of stuff I don't appreciate, because that's not how I said it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
and I'll always back up what I say. And, you know, I said that me and Lerone both said things to each other that weren't acceptable and both offended each other, whatever, you know, because we're in the heat of the moment. But don't change the word how I said it to try and get him to react in a different way.
Sure.
Because then if he came up to me in a certain manner, thinking that I'd said something differently, I'm going to react in a different way, you know, and I'm not into all that.
Would you like for your next fight to be outside of Europe?
If I'm honest, I'll always like to stay at home.
Okay.
Because jet lag affects me, man. I'm a horrible little man when I don't have much sleep. And jet lag does affect me, you know, I won't lie. If I'm honest, the two cards that I'm now a bit like, you know, I'd love to be on them. One, the Abu Dhabi card, and that's because I fought on Fight Island twice before, and there was no fans, there was no crowd. So I would love to go back there and actually have the people watch me perform. And the Brazil card, man, because I've never been to Brazil. I know I'm going to get some jet lag, but for me, you know, I would love to visit certain countries. Now that I'm not cutting a serious amount of weight, you know, obviously it's a little bit more comfortable. And I'd love to go to Brazil. You know, I've never been there. I've got my wedding coming up next month, so I'm trying to see if I can make a honeymoon into a fight at the same time.
Oh my
you know, the missus, obviously, she's not 100% on that. But if I sort of say to her, oh, we're going to go to Brazil, fight, get paid, then go somewhere else, then for me, that makes her a bit more special. And it puts a bit more money in my bank for the honeymoon. So, yeah. They're the two cards that I would like to have. But, yeah, you know, the closer to home, the better. You know, I have a lot of supporters. I have a lot of friends and family that come to watch my fights. And if I can save them a little bit of money on travel, you know, then I'll make sure to do that.
First of all, congrats on the upcoming wedding. But second of all, to do your honeymoon like on the back end of a fight, that adds a lot of pressure too, no? Like, you know, you want to be in a good mood. You want to win, right? Why do you want to have them back to back like that?
So how I thought was like, okay, if we went out to Brazil, I fight Saturday night, we stay there for like, let's say 5 nights, go to like a really nice resort.
Yeah.
Hopefully with a nice bit of cash in my pocket, you know, maybe a bonus, whatever. Then we fly somewhere else because I always like to sort of travel about a little bit. You know, I'd like to get a couple of countries in one for a honeymoon kind of thing. And kind of remind me of when me and my fiance went traveling, you know, it's like bringing back memories sort of thing. And yeah, you know, or I'll come home and then go again. But I would like for her to be able to visit these countries with me. You know, obviously Abu Dhabi, she wasn't allowed to come because it was COVID. It would be nice for her to be able to share these experiences. You know, I don't want her in my corner. I don't want her cutting weight with me or doing any of that sort of stuff. But if she could come out and share these experiences with me, for me, that would make me very happy.
There's a bit of a movement right now saying, hey, the UFC needs to get out of London. They've oversaturated it. Maybe go to Manchester, go to Newcastle, go to Dublin, go to Glasgow. How do you, as a proud Londoner, how do you feel about this? Is it Londoner or Londonite? I think it's Londoner, right?
Londoner.
Okay,
yeah,
Londoner.
So for me, I don't feel that they have saturated it. I feel that the card that we just had was nowhere near as good as the 2 cards before, which is why I think a lot of people moaned about it. You know, a lot of people were moaning about the ticket prices because they were the same as Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, you know. So I don't think it's that London's saturated at all because the tickets sell out instantly. I just think that maybe the card on the weekend wasn't necessarily what people were hoping for. But I do think it would be great if they went to Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, etc. So for me, I feel that they could do as many as they like in a year. They would sell it out, no problem. So for me, I would be like, you know, if I was the UFC, I'd think, okay, let's go to the UK 4 times a year. You know, why not? Maybe Dublin, somewhere like that, Ireland, in the, you know, maybe Scotland, something like that would be cool. Because I'm technically at home still, even though, you know, I'm going to have to stay there and stuff. But I don't think London's saturated at all. I just think maybe the card was nowhere near as big as that Leon Edwards Kamaru Usman card.
By the way, what are we going to do about the nickname? You're not a prospect anymore. Like you are here. Rankings or not. What are we going to This is kind of like Faber. He wasn't a kid anymore, but are we just going to stick with it till the end?
I'm going to have to. I've started 2 businesses off that name.
Oh, my gosh.
I've spent too much money, man. I'm going to be the oldest prospect in the game. But Yeah, I might have to change it to the comeback kid or something like that because I keep having to come back from these fights. But yeah, for now I'm going to stick with it. Maybe when I become UFC champ, I might change it.
What are the two businesses?
So during my injury, I thought I got to start businesses, man. The UFC pay great, but if I don't fight, I don't get paid. So I started a clothing company, which is the Prospect Apparel. I started that with a friend of mine from school, and that's actually been going a while now. But that was more something just to keep my mental health just focused on something, because I felt like in between training, there was too many hours in the day where I was just letting my mind go away with the fairies and just ending up in depressive states. So that's one of them. And then the other one, I've got the Prospect Academy, which is an online tutorial where people can train with me, but not just me, my whole team. So we've got everyone, my strength coach, Brad Pickham, Ashley Grimshaw, my jiu-jitsu coach, you name it, we got it. We've got my yoga instructor, my nutritionist, and all of that for £5 a month.
Wow.
And the idea is I don't need to make money from these businesses yet. What I want to do is create something where in 8 years' time, when I retire, I've got something to fall back on, because that scares the hell out of me. When I retire, when I get injured, I don't get paid.
Right.
So yeah, these for me are like my retirement plans, if you like. I plant the seed now, and hopefully, by the time I retire, they've blossomed into a nice money tree that I can fall back on.
I love that. Very forward thinking of you. And the apparel store is top notch. Like, this isn't your typical fighter sort of cheap stuff. It's very nice. The store is very nice. I checked it out. It's
thank you.
Yeah, it's really, really nice stuff.
I'm trying to create something that doesn't need me to sell it, So that's why with the academy, I don't want it to just be about me. I want it to be about my whole team. If you want to train with a UFC fight team, you can do that. Whereas most fighters, I think, usually do their own kind of online tutorial, but I don't want it to just be about me. I want to bring people in that want to train with my coaches, that might not have access to it. With the Prospect Apparel, I purposely am trying to hire other models to represent the brand, because I want the brand to sell itself. I don't want it to just be about me. I don't want it to be, right, that's a cheap T-shirt, but because it says my name on it, someone's going to buy it. I want it to be a quality brand where someone's going to buy it because of the material and how it fits, not just because it's my brand. So, yeah, it's early days yet, but, I've got plenty of time on my side, and, it keeps me busy, man. And that's the main thing.
And by the way, are you sponsored by a lightsaber company?
Yes. Padawan Outpost.
What is going on? Mate, what is a light?
These guys.
What is going
I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, but these guys, and I saw their lightsabers, and mate, it is special. These aren't kids' toys. These aren't like kids' lightsabers. These are like solid metal. Mate, do you know what? I'm sure they'll send you one out if you've something you was happy to have. But they are cool as fuck, mate. They are so cool.
What do you use it for?
Just a light, really. Nah, mate, I'm waving it around in the house all the time.
Wow.
I'm as far as I'm concerned, I'm a Jedi now. If you take this thing out at nighttime, it lights the road up. They're expensive. They're not cheap. And
they
luckily,
reach out to you?
The guys. Yeah, funny enough, we've got a mutual friend. I went to Comic-Con with one of my friends, which when he said he's taking me Comic-Con, I was like, come on, man, I'm not going there. Anyway, I went along. They saw me and said, mate, please tell your mate not to buy a lightsaber today. We'll give him one. We'll come to the gym next week. They live local to me. And he said about sponsorship. So here I am now, and I'm sponsored by Jedis.
That's awesome.
It's a cool thing, man. It is. And they're a bit of a success story, So they had some hard times, and now they're doing very, very well.
I love that. Just like you and your fight career now with 3 wins in a row. So it's all apropos. Congrats on the win, Nathaniel. What a great performance. What a great fight that was. Really, really great. One of the best of the night. And looking forward to what's next. And hopefully you get that fight after the wedding, of course, in Brazil. That would be tremendous. And obviously staying in the UK and in Europe, you're a big star over there. So that makes all the sense in the world. Appreciate you doing this. Congrats again. And good luck with the upcoming wedding. Congrats on that as well.
Thank you. I need it. It's expensive.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right. There he is. Nathaniel Wood. Still the prospect. He's sticking with it. God bless. I mean, Like I said, Uriah Faber stuck with the kid, the California kid, till this day. He's still the California kid. He's not the man. There's a couple others like that. They evolved from the nickname
Wonder Boy.
That's a great
You could
one.
change to Prospector.
So what's up with the lightsaber thing? Like people just they buy them and they
Just have it. It's a cool toy, man. I mean, the one that Nathaniel Wood has in the picture, the purple one, is incredible.
There
How
are,
much?
If you get one sent to you, go ahead and add a purple one on for
There are
me.
groups of people who
It
duel with
depends
them.
on which one you get. They have different like levels. You can get one for as low as like 120, but I saw some on the website that are like 600.
wow, $600.
And they look pretty legit, man.
Does it do the thing like you press the button and it goes like?
Oh yeah.
It
Wow.
probably does, but this is like I used to have one back in the day that was like a foldable one.
Wait, you used to have
These
one?
look-
Telescoping ones.
Yeah, these look way cooler. These are like really
I didn't know you were into that.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen all the movies.
Well, I've not seen one start to finish. How many are there? 6?
9
9?
main ones. Now
Only
there's
been
a
around
million
since 77.
spinoffs,
Yeah.
million TV shows.
No, I know the spin-offs, but like the official movies.
Yeah, 9.
9. Wow.
Three different
3,
trilogies.
the 3 originals, and then there was the 3 behind, and then 3 after.
Yep.
Wow.
The 3 prequels don't really count anymore.
They don't,
What?
No.
Episode 1, 2, and 3?
bro.
Yeah.
How can you
I'm going to
say
say
that?
something crazy. The nostalgia for those are my. I mean, episode 1 gets so much trash. I absolutely love it. Darth Maul,
What year is this?
double bladed, Mace Windu, like 1999.
Just stands there
Oh,
when
okay.
it gets cut.
Right.
Yeah.
Mace Windu, purple lightsaber. Shout out.
Sure. All right, let's move along to our next guest and last guest of the day. Wow, it is always a great pleasure when we're joined by Borrachinha Paulo Costa. What a character he has turned into. Dare I say, one of the most popular and beloved fighters in the sport. And we found out last week that Chael Sonnen was right all along. No, he is not fighting this weekend at UFC 291. In fact, he was never fighting this weekend at UFC 291. He is, in fact, fighting in Abu Dhabi on October the 21st against Khamzat Chimaev. Maybe the most anticipated non-title fight at the back end of the year. Holy smokes, the buildup has already begun. Here he is, without further ado, the pride of Belo Horizonte, the OnlyFans superstar, Paulo Costa. How are you, my friend?
Hey, bro.
Wow.
It's a pleasure to you have me here and to be here on your great show. Thank you very much for inviting, guy, bro. And yes, I miss you, bro. I'd like to stay there live.
Yes.
Too, but yeah, Brazil is so fucking far from New York. But next time, sure, I hope.
Do you have any plans to come to New York?
I'd like to go, tomorrow. But I have plans to be in Miami. Miami, right, man? Yeah. Miami next week, I think.
Oh, wow. You would do great in Miami. And hello to Tamara as well. I didn't know she was joining us.
Say hello.
Come on.
Hello, Maria.
There she is. Tamara, how are the fingers? Anything new?
Okay. Everybody wants to see Tamara, right?
What's going on? Anything?
No, yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Jeez. What a saga this
Maybe
is.
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay. In the ring, in the cage after the fight. Like Benson Henderson.
Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, stop pressure me.
Okay, sorry. Paulo, every time I see you like online and stuff, you put me in such a good mood. Like your content these days has been unbelievable. You're on fire. And you just announced, congratulations, you're doing a whole new thing with OnlyFans. And I just wanted to know if I sign up, because I was thinking about signing up, could you tell me what kind of content am I going to see on the OnlyFans? Because I know there's like, so
Are you curious?
yeah, I'm just curious. I just was wondering what is in store, because there's a price tag involved, right? I have to pay for this.
Yeah. Yes,
So what am I looking
yes.
at? What am I getting for my money?
Okay. Besides all jokes, and I'm a funny guy, I have a good mood. But Your OnlyFans is a new platform. I think they are investing a lot in new fighters to change a little bit the concept the people has about the OnlyFans. OnlyFans is as well, but not only a platform to erotic stuffs. So
What
what do you love?
No, I like the way you say it.
Yeah, so I will not, because I have the best girlfriend ever, Tamara. She signed me with OnlyFans. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
She put me there. Yeah, she's so open-minded,
Yeah,
right?
she's cool. Yeah.
She's cool. She's cool as a lot, a lot. So yeah, but my plan is not at least for now not uh show my butt or my my stuff there.
Okay.
It's just show more content about my lifestyle, hard trains, sparrings, some stuff that is not so easy to post on normal social media, common social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So they are paying me to do that. So I need to deliver some content. And the deal is deliver some very exclusive content for OnlyFans subscribers.
Okay, I like it.
So
yeah,
yeah,
and it started right. Are you? I heard some people. There's some people they make like 500,000 a month. A lot of big money involved, right?
Yes, big money involved, especially when you show some content naked, and
Sure.
some girls is make a lot of money. Some girls make a lot of money. It's not my goal. My goal right now is show more about Paulo Costa lifestyle stuff, who I am. I really am, and maybe sometimes it's not possible to show. Yeah,
sure.
it.
I think you can make that kind of money.
I'm happy for OnlyFans. Thank you, OnlyFans, for inviting me.
Yeah, I think you can make that kind of money. You don't have to go there. I think there's enough demand for just your regular content where you don't have to go there. If you
it's enough, right?
Yes,
it's enough.
yes.
Maybe I can do something. You'll be spicy for only for girls. Yeah.
Sure.
Only for biological girls.
Sure.
Yeah.
Paulo, so much to ask you about. First of all, congratulations. Clearly, you have re-signed with UFC. Were you ever close to? I know we spoke; it was close, but you weren't quite signed on the dotted line. Were you close to leaving at any point?
Yeah, I think so. I think we push a lot, on both sides. I think they push a lot as well, and yes, all what I can say for you and for everybody understand very well the situation that happened is we are able to do everything at all the moment. I was able to do wherever the situation move us to do, like get out, renew, So we are 100% of time, 100% convicted that we should we could not be part anymore or continue. But I think we did the best way. I think UFC is happy. I'm so happy. Hunter, the guys, Hunter Campbell, Dana, I think they are happy because Dana personally asked for that fight against Chimaev.
Wow.
And and I need to mention Tamara did great job representing me, and Tiki Garza. He's you know him?
Of course, yeah. I didn't know you work with him.
Yeah.
Longtime manager. Yes.
You work with him?
No, but I know him. He represents TJ Dillashaw and Rampage Jackson. So many guys. Dustin Poirier he works with too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Brian Ortega, I think, as well.
Yes, Brian Ortega. Right. So now you're working with him too.
Yes, and he jumped in the negotiation, and he came to help, because we are a kind of stuck, and he helped a lot. He helps us a lot.
He has a great relationship with Dana. They're very close friends.
Yes, my
I know.
guy.
Yes.
You know everything.
I know.
You are the Wikipedia of MMA.
Sure. I'll take that. So then why? So everything was good. Why did they say up until like a week or so ago, Paulo? Why did they say that you were fighting on 291 in Salt Lake City? What was going on over there?
It's more about negotiation way. We at some point this took very hard way, and then but since the day one they talk about Ukraine. I can tell you it was like a 99% of chance of not happen. It's the kind of let's see, we have this, we don't have anyone other fighter available for a fight you now, something like that.
But it never made sense to me. Like, you're such a big name. No disrespect to him, but like, there's just such a big difference between you guys.
No, me either. I think he's a very talented kid. I didn't take too many time watching his fights. I just watch his fight on UFC against Phil Waves, and I have trained with Phil Waves when in 2015 when Vitor Belfort invited us to his fight camp against Weidman a long time ago.
Yeah,
and I just watched that fight, but not respecting him. I just think he need to do more steps and to fight the big names.
Was it annoying for you? Like, it kept being promoted that you were on the card and you knew that you weren't on the card?
I think I'm a fighter for UFC, so they, it's not boring me or annoying me. I just think this is kind of the company can do, and they do this, so I'm good. I'm okay with that.
When did you know that you were definitely not fighting in Salt Lake City this weekend?
When I did know that,
yeah,
I knew that actually kind of 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago.
Okay, all right,
long time ago.
Yeah,
long time.
And is that when you knew that you were fighting in Abu Dhabi? Because Chael Sonnen told me in April that you were fighting in Abu Dhabi. How does he know this guy?
I don't know how this guy got this information.
Did you even know back then? Did you know that you were fighting him in Khamzat in Abu Dhabi in October?
You know what? In January, then January or February, something in the beginning of this year, Dana throw Tiki. He say, "Hey, the fight to make is Paulo against Chimaev." So, but this fight only can happen on Abu Dhabi, October. So then, few months ago, 7 months ago, I just thought, bro, it's so long. Why I gonna wait for this guy until October? So give me a fight, UFC. And they say we have no other fighters available to fight you. I say, yes, we have Strickland or Cannonier. They say we have other planes for you guys, not to collide each other against. So I was waiting for some fight, and then Blachowicz shows they suggest Blachowicz on 205 around May. I say, okay, let's do that, but Blachowicz was not training; he was on vacation. They asked Ankalaev. He told UFC he was not trained as well. He has no time because it was a short notice, like 2 weeks to fight. So after that, I was in the limbo. No fights to do. But yeah, Dana White wants that fight since a long time ago.
Why do you think he wants that fight so bad?
I think because a lot stuff is involved. I think he's right at some point. I was wanted to fight to get another fight before this, but I think he's right because the chance to get some injury or some bad things happen and I will not be able to fight in Chimaev in October is a high percentage of chance of happen. So I think he's right. And because the hype of this fight, because we have a beef, we doesn't like each other, and I think this is a good matchup for the audience.
And do you have any idea why he could only fight in Abu Dhabi?
I hear something. Some people say some sheikhs are owner or have participation on some royalties on UFC, so they need to demand big fights over there. Yes, this is true because they always bring good fights for October in Abu Dhabi. It's like a fight week of Abu Dhabi, and they are bring these guys from the Western because they are the same religion, I think.
Okay. When did you sign to fight Khamzat?
Yeah. Few weeks ago, like 6 weeks ago.
So, I think it was last week he was talking about Leon Edwards and stuff like that. What did you think?
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Because I want that fight so bad, a lot. I want a lot that fight. Dana wants a lot that fight. The audience wants that fight, but not Chimaev. Chimaev doesn't want that fight. So he tried hard, get another guys to fight. Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad, Usman. He called all these guys desperate to fight him, and only the guys on the division. But he's a kind of nuts because he was not fighting on the 170. He gonna fight on 185. So he was trying pull up some lighter guys to 185. You understand? Not fight a genuine 185. I think, my thoughts.
He was at the event in London this weekend, and he did some media. I saw he said that like you're not real Brazilian, no one likes you, all this stuff. Did you see his comments?
I'm Mexican.
Did you see his comments?
Mexican. I saw.
Yeah, what did you think?
He nuts. He's crazy. He don't say nothing relevant, nothing makes sense. Crazy.
You like this guy, or do you think he's good for the sport?
I love him.
You love him.
I know. Yeah, you know. Yeah, he's making money. He's a good fighter. You know, at the end, very, very deep on the bottom, he's a good fighter. And yeah, let's go there, beat him on his fuck house.
What is that?
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay. What is the? Can I ask? Where did the issue with him all start? I know you had the thing at the Apex, the hat. Why was there an issue between you guys? How did that all start?
Yes, that all started when was in his fight peak.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Las Vegas because I have a surgery on my hand after Luke Hold fight. And I was there training because I never stopped. So I was training even with my hand very post surgery. And I was training with Jake Shields so sometimes we went to UFC PI, sometimes we went to Jake Shields Academy gym facility. And that day we went to UFC PI and Jake Shields. Remember, Jake Shields is so, you know, everybody knows, so big fellow of Nate Diaz and Chimaev supposed to fight Nate Diaz on that week. So we went, me, Jake Shields, Tamara, and Nicholas, UFC fighter, a small guy. And we went there, and he was there training in the cage. But there is a big place, you know. So we looked for an open mat, you know, a free mat. And we then to train. We started to train. And Sunday, at some part of train, I saw some guy in the cage look for us train. He was close off the door, just look for us. And I didn't see very well, so I have 2.5 degrees on left and 2.2 on right. So myopia. How you say?
Yeah. Myopic.
So I did. Yeah, myopia. So I didn't see very well, but I figured I suppose it was him. So after 10 minutes, look for us, and we finished the train while I was sitting in the mat, and he still continue to look for me. So I get up and say, I'm gonna over there to ask him if he wants something, or I don't know. I just went there. And I say, hey, bro, you want something? You want to say something? He say, Paulo. He was very kind. He say, Paulo, you talk shit about me. You talk bad things about me. I want to know why you talk bad things about me. He say that. So I realized it was a good moment. So I say, look, bro, I talk bad shit about you, but I have just one thing to say to you. I want to fight you. I want to fight you. So he be so nervous and angry. He say, so let's fight now. I say, okay, let's fight now. I am here on the mat. Jump in, open. The door is open. Come on. And so I did. He started to xingar. Say, talk shit about me, and the guys hold him.
Okay. And is that when you got his hat?
No, unfortunately, no. I just got his hat 2 days after that when I went to Shimo podcast, and he left the hat, and I stole his hat.
Then you came on my show, and I didn't realize you put the hat in your pants, and then you put me the hat, and I didn't. I thought that was a little bit mean that you did that, because then you put the hat. You told me to smell.
No,
the hat
but I was underwear. I was using underwear.
So because a lot of people since have told me that you were trying to get me, but now you're revealing that it was underwear.
I never would do that. Never with you.
Thank you.
I was when I put his hat under my shorts.
Yeah.
I was wearing underwear, so you're safe.
Okay. Thank you. By the way, what's this shirt that you're wearing?
Oh, this is my coach sent me is Elon Musk.
Wow.
Because we are Team Elon Musk, and I'd like to be part of his preparation if he fights Mark Zuckerberg.
You're Team Musk. There's a lot of MMA fighters, Izzy and Volkanovski. I see them training with Zuckerberg. You're on Team Musk. Why Team Musk?
Yeah, I'm Team Musk. Definitely. Yeah. I don't like socialists. I prefer the way that money move the world. So yeah, everybody need to capitalize. Yeah, so I prefer Musk because the man make rockets.
He does, yeah, and cool cars.
Yeah.
But he changed Twitter's name to X. A bit weird, no?
And, and I don't know why, but do you like that?
No, it's a little weird.
I don't know. Yeah, a little bit. Because he has SpaceX, maybe something about marketing, right?
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
By the way, speaking of shirts, I know you're hot in here. Are you nervous? What's wrong?
I'm gonna no, because Brazil. I put this.
Oh yeah, here we go. Nice.
I think it's better, right? Better way to do interview.
For sure. 100%. You look fantastic. I mean, look at that. Look at those. Wow.
Look there.
I feel like I'm looking in the mirror, if I'm being honest. Oh, there it is. Any update? I mean, it looks like it's taped on there.
I will be update. Yeah. This is the bottle is getting bigger.
Yeah.
As the founder, getting bigger each day by day, bigger. So, yeah, this is just, bro. We delay with this. We had, some issues, but we are solving this. My plan is launch the secret juice before the fight.
Oh, in stores.
In stores, yeah, for sure. First we're gonna sell on website. Yes, and this is a good moment for people who want to work with us. Some investors.
Investors.
A lot of investors from New York, right?
Yes. A lot of rich people here. Yes. Okay.
So this is a good moment if you want to make millions on secret juice. Invest on this. Golden juice, is the moment because you need to raise some money to spread out for all the while.
Okay, all right. And if an investor said he wanted to invest, but you had to tell him what was in the secret juice, would you tell him?
Just for investors who put more than 5 million on that.
Okay, all right. That's the
fair enough.
Yes, I think that's very fair. I also understand you have a new store, right? You have a new online store where you're selling shirts.
Oh my!
Come on,
bro!
Yes.
I have something special. You are my dear friend. I have something special. What do you think about? I want to launch this web store right here on the biggest MMA show ever.
Okay.
With Ariel Helwani right now. What do you think about this, Ariel?
You're gonna do it right now?
Right now.
What do you mean?
Exactly now. Because this is not open until now.
Wow.
I want to launch it. Yeah.
This is amazing. We just showed a picture of it. It's not live. You're gonna make it live right now on the show.
Of course. If you can put on.
Breaking news, Paulo. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, what are we doing? How are you gonna make it live?
Yes. So if you guys can put on the big screen. So after now, we'll be open to everyone. If the guys want to get some, like I'm gonna show you. I have a special drop right now, and I have a lot of surprise today for you, Ariel.
Tell me.
Yeah. Look this. Gourmet chain.
Wow. You could buy that on the store.
Oh my God. I'm going to put this on.
Put it on. And stand up if you can, because it's a bit cut off. So I want to see the whole thing, the whole T-shirt. Wow, look at that.
The whole T-shirt.
I mean, look at that. Wow, that is perfect. That is nice. That's on the store right now?
Yes, on the store right now. So, which is the website?
Ariel has that.
You have
I do have it, but you tell me. You tell me.
But I need to tell the people.
Paulo Costa Official.
Okay, it's right here. Paulo Costa Official.com.
Oh my god.
Is the website.
Live right now. I'm gonna look at it right now on this on the show. Paulo Costa Official. We're showing it right now as well, Paulo. Oh my god, look at this store. This is nice. This is very nice. I might have to get a shirt. I might have to get a shirt, Paulo.
Of course, I have two good news for you, Ariel Helwani, on the website.
It's a very nice. You're selling hats too, Paulo. You're selling all kinds of things.
That's true. And I have a special logo for you, motherfucker. What's that?
That's right. Oh, I see it right now. That is amazing. MTFK. That is beautiful. I love that.
Yes.
Wow. Who designed all this? You and Tamara? Just you guys?
Me, Tamara, but we have a team, Gregory and Ricky.
Okay.
These guys is meme creators. And a lot, of course, I need to mention the Secret Juice Army is Miami meme who send me all these stuffs.
Yes, okay. It's unbelievable. Yeah, we're showing all the shirts right now.
Yeah, this is people made for the people.
For the people, by the people.
Yes, for the people, by the people. But
okay,
and
yes.
Tamara is for me. You gave me a punch in the face, but you are right. You told me about the price.
Yes.
I know you Jewish.
Yeah,
I'm kind of Jewish as well.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, I'm. So we changed the price. It's special because you mentioned that.
Okay.
It's not more $55. Take a look at the price.
I'm looking right now. I see $34 for the T-shirt. Yes. Very nice. That's affordable. This is what I'm talking about. You're going to sell more now. Not too expensive.
Yeah.
T-shirt 34, hat 30. I see the Chen T-shirt is 40. So it's a little that one is 40 because it's a special one, right?
Special one.
I love.
And look how you look. You look strong in jacket.
You look
fit very well.
You look fantastic.
It's a nice fabric.
Yeah. Okay.
Material.
Mm-hmm.
So fits good. You can look good. Even you, Ariel.
Even me. You think so?
Even you. Yeah, for sure. I have no doubt about.
Okay.
No doubt. So, Ariel, you are my friend. Pick on the website some shirts for you, like a 2 or 3.
Wow.
For you, for free.
Wow, my favorite word.
Yes, and I'm gonna send for you, maybe.
Okay.
No, for sure, No, choose that. I'm gonna show for you.
That's
You're
very kind. I'm gonna look and I'm gonna let you know. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Can I ask you?
Just a second.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's trying to destroy my house.
What happened?
They are repairing my house.
Oh.
I'm gonna stop.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We don't even hear it.
Sorry for
We don't
that.
even hear it. By the way, where did the gourmet chen chen come from? Where did you come up with that?
Yeah. The name Gourmet Chichen. Just a sec, bro.
Okay, no problem.
What the fuck? Stop that shit.
I mean, when you're Paulo Costa, they're gonna do work on your house. He's got a gamer chair back there.
Let's respect his privacy.
Is that a?
That's a bed.
No, is that like a projector thingy?
Yeah, it's a projector thing, and then a split AC unit and an Xbox.
You see an Xbox? Where?
Yeah, it's
Top
to the left on that shelf.
Interesting.
Sorry, my brother. I need to beat that motherfucker there.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Gourmet chen chen. What does that mean?
Gourmet Chichen, because the guy is not real. He told me I'm fake Brazilian, but he's fake Chichen.
Okay.
I know. He moved. He moved from his country, and he moved to Sweden.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's a gourmet Chichen. That's why. He's not original Chichen.
Okay. All right. Why is this fight 4D chess? You said it was going to be 4D chess.
4D chess?
Yeah, you tweeted that it's going to be 4D chess.
Yes. Because the negotiation that we're going through that I told you.
Oh.
The people talk a lot shit like Paulo gonna fight this guy who is not very knowing, is not very popular, but I was playing chess behind the scenes. Playing chess with Tamara Tiki, we did a great job. And yes, bro, I think this is a new beginning of new great stuff. What's gonna happen? So I'm very excited. I renew my deal with UFC for good money and good fights, and I'm so glad for God for it. I thank God for it, and I'm very excited to deliver my best. I'm on my prime right now. I'm 32 years old, and my prime is coming every single fight yet. So I didn't reach my. I'm talking very, very, very humble and honest point for you. I didn't reach my best yet. So I think, yeah. And after the fight, the winner of this fight, we're gonna fight for the belt. And so I'm very motivated for this fight. First, because a great fight for everybody who want to see me, the wild Paulo Costa back, the aggressive guy fighting back, and the second reason is for the money. The third reason is because after that, who won gonna be the next for the title shot. What they say was that.
Isn't it a bit of a shame though? Like you're in your prime and you haven't fought since August of last year. Like we miss you out there. It's been so long.
So long, yeah. But because all these issues that I told you before, the renegotiate when you reach the last fight of your contract is a sensitive moment, So yeah. But anyway, as I told you before, in January they want to hold me to fight Chechen in October. So anyway, like Chimaev, he's waiting for a long time.
Yeah. By the way, I saw that you posted something yesterday. I got worried you were wearing like an oxygen mask, and I thought that you were not going to come on the show and all this stuff. You scared me a little bit, but you said all is good. You were kind of mocking, and you also posted another one with the haram on it. Like you're really trying to you're trying to get under his skin. It seems like you're really do you enjoy that? I think you enjoy trying to like annoy him. Is that accurate?
Yes, I just do for fun because I got a lot of fun doing that. This entertain me myself, and I love this. I do because I love this, and I have a reason to do that. So, and it's good to promote the fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest fights, I think, of the back end of the year, and I think a lot of people are very excited about it because of the way in which both of you promote and the heat between you guys, the press conference, the stare down, all that. It's going to be very intense, huh?
Oh yes, I think everything about this fight gonna be very intense.
Yes.
Even now, before so long before the fight is so intense, and the press conference gonna be crazy. The fight, I think, gonna be crazy as well. I think he gonna be so aggressive. He gonna jump on the legs, on try put me down, put me on wrestler, on the. Yeah, I think he going. Everything about this fight is amazing. He's a great guy.
Why are you so confident going into the fight? No one wants to fight this guy. He's looked unbeatable. Why are you so confident?
Just because I know my skills. I know what I do every single day inside the facility, inside the gym, in the training, and once we put the 4-ounce gloves on the hand and step in the cage, I can definitely win that fight against everyone. So I have this very clear in my mind, but I need to work hard my ass, to keep improving and keeping the shape. Could you just help me on that?
Yeah. And by the way, what is your take on the middleweight division right now? There was all the drama with DDP and Izzy, and now no Dricus du Plessis and maybe Sean Strickland. Is there a chance that you guys fight and you pass one of these guys? Like DDP not fighting in September, maybe, you can win and pass him. What do you make of what's going on at the top over there?
I think do all the situation on middleweight division, and do all this hype above this fight against Chimaev.
Yeah.
Then the next in line is gonna be the winner.
Are you happy that Izzy is the champion again?
Yes, I have something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time though, you go back to Abu Dhabi. Try not to drink before the fight.
Oh yes.
Well, you could drink the juice, but not the alcohol.
Yes. No more alcohol. I'm a holy man. I will not even talk about bad shit about gourmet chain. I'm a changing man.
Oh, okay.
I told you. Yeah, I'm changing man. I not alcohol, just one wife, and all the stuff that.
Well, girlfriend.
The good man.
Girlfriend, you don't not wife yet.
Yeah,
future. Fiance, then wife, and everything. So it seems like it all worked out. There was a little bit of drama, but you have the new contract, you have the fight, you have the store, you have
everything nice.
Everything. You have the OnlyFans, you have the YouTube channel. It's all come together for you.
Everything very well now. Very, very no problem. No problem at all. My weight, I am almost in the weight. When I normally when I get the weight, when I got the weight, I was like 2-3 weeks for the fight. Now we have 12, almost 12 weeks for the fight. I'm in the weight right now.
Wow.
And we're gonna.
That's amazing. I said wow.
Yeah. Wow. So
you're 185 right now. You're close to 185 right now.
No, not even though. Yeah, but
okay.
Like 213, 210.
Okay, easy. And you don't have to deal with the altitude in Salt Lake City. Who wants to deal with that, right? You get exhausted.
Bro, was a bad. No, I don't know why UFC is the main UFC there, bro. Nobody can perform very well, at 100%. It's like a Mexican altitude. I don't know. I don't feel very good. I feel a little different.
Okay. So it's all worked out. Well, this has been wonderful, Paulo. Thank you very much for coming on.
See a little, I will be with my friends from Abu Dhabi.
They love you there.
I'm gonna bring them. Yes, I love them too, and we're gonna bring everyone every single person of my team, my circle, couple weeks ago. So make sure before couple weeks before the fight to make sure everything gonna happen clean, beautiful. Yeah.
And what's the official prediction? How do you beat Khamzat Chimaev on October 21st?
This fight is for 3 rounds of 3 fucking quickly rounds of 5 minutes. So I think this fight will be crazy and gonna end at first round.
First round, really?
I think so, Bill.
Knockout or submission?
Knockout.
Wow.
No, I will not try to submit him. I'm black belt, but I will not try to submit him. I don't think he gonna try to submit me as well. So explosive guy, so full of energy. Yeah, I prefer knockout.
If you knock him out, there'll be no denying. You'll be next. No, I mean, no question, right? 100%. You are next. You knock out Khamzat in the first round, they'll make a title fight that night for you.
Do you think so?
I think so, 100%.
Thank you. I think so too.
The website is paulocostaofficial.com. Go check it out. Check out the OnlyFans. Can we sign up already for the OnlyFans? Is it ready to go, the OnlyFans?
Yeah, and it's free.
Is ready. Tamara told me is ready to go. So guys, please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, also social media, and OnlyFans. And OnlyFans is free now. So
it's
you
free.
can guys take a look. Yeah, it's free.
Okay. That's amazing. You get all kinds of training footage, sexy stuff, all free. Amazing.
Yeah, so guys, take a look over there. You guys gonna if you guys like then what you guys gonna watch that. Think about to subscribe and stay tuned, guys, because we launch right here on the Ariel MMA Hour show, right? And the Paulo Costa official store, and some special drops like this gonna be available. So stay tuned there, and that's it. And I'm gonna invite the former Brazilian president to be there. I invite all my friends to be there because we need to celebrate that fight after that fight. And maybe I haven't seen Donald Trump in all the events, so I'd like to invite him if he be around. Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
Maybe then I can invite. Yeah. So yeah, that's it, bro. Thank you for having me here. Always a great pleasure.
Yes.
I can't wait to be there in the studio with you.
Anytime, my friend. Thank you so much. Good luck to you. All the best. Good luck with the store and everything that you're doing. And good luck in training for the fight. Can't wait for it, Paulo. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will bring my best for this fight. I'm almost ready right now. So yeah, just keep, the good form, the good shape, the good performance. And guys, stay tuned. I will be there, ready, 100%. Okay.
Incredible. Thank you, Paulo. Thank you, Tamara. All the best to you guys. Obrigado. There they are, Paulo Costa and Tamara. What a time to be alive. Go check out the website. I mean, it's nice stuff. Luckily for us, we have a merch aficionado on the team. Your thoughts, GC, on the merch store?
Oh yeah, great stuff.
Really high quality, right? What are we eyeing right now? I mean, for the
gourmet chin chin hat is great.
Yeah, it's got a cupcake on it. What else? The MTFK shirt is not bad.
I was gonna say, it feels like he made that for you. It feels like we all need to get one of those.
Also, the Paulo Costa cursive. What are you eating back there? What's going on?
Listen, man.
Poor guy.
This is when there was
the old lunch.
There was like a 2.5 hour stretch where there was no chance you were going to get called upon.
Listen, man. Getting called upon isn't the only thing I do back here. There's a couple other things.
True. No, I don't mean that, but I mean on air.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. This was the first break I got. A couple noodles. Nothing too crazy.
Cup o' noodles?
No, couple noodles.
Just a couple.
Just noodles. The Secret Juice shirt is an absolute classic. I need one of those in my life.
The Paulo Costa cursive is nice.
Oh, yeah, the Paulo Costa cursive is great. The original gangster one.
I don't see that. Where's that?
By the way, Ariel.
You don't
Yes.
see it?
I'm pretty sure Paulo said one life, and you were like, "Oh, but she's not even your fiance yet." It's like, no, you said.
No, he
only
said
has
one wife.
Oh, okay.
You're getting a little too big for your britches over there. He had this one. He had 1,000%. He said, "I
He's
got
talking about
everything."
not drinking alcohol. He's like, "Well, you have one life."
No, you're wrong
Okay.
about that. You are so
I
wrong
admit
about
I could
that.
be wrong.
No, he's talking about
Can't
everything's.
you?
Did you hear this, or were you getting the noodles?
getting the
GC?
No. I was microwaving the noodles. You know,
He had
refilling the
1,000% said one. Now you're getting a little too comfortable correcting me on
you
air
could be
after every
wrong.
interview. Jeez, he had 1,000% said one wife because he said everything's in place. I got my contract. I got my wife. I got my this. I got my that.
All right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think the Secret Juice, the MTFK shirt.
He's got the Secret Juice Army. Yeah, Secret Juice is the classic. Secret Juice hoodie.
The picture of just the bottle of Secret Juice on the beach with his autograph on the sleeve is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, there's some great stuff here. The actual, like, more serious stuff, like the Paulo Costa hoodie with just the signature on it, that's pretty nice, too. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. A lot of good stuff on here. The Secret Juice, though, the fact that he's got the women's tee, he's got the tank, the gym tank, he's got the hoodie, he's got the T-shirt, plus the website design. It's pretty easy, you know.
What a guy. What a fight.
Yeah.
Who's the favorite right now? Did I ask you this already?
Gracious. Yes. Khamzat is the favorite right now. Maybe minus 300, I think.
Wow. That is going to be nuts. All right, great stuff there. Let's go back to the questions. We got to chip away at these. Here's a Bay. Hello, Ariel and crew. Since we all agree that there's a chance Jones and Stipe both retire after they fight, I don't necessarily agree. I agree Stipe might, but Jones, I think he might stick around. Shouldn't Tom Aspinall, a.k.a. Paul, not funny, just sit tight and see how that plays out first? No. If they both retire, they'll almost certainly make Aspinall versus Pavlovich for the vacant belt. If John wants to take his time, same fight gets made for the interim belt. Yada, yada, yada. Also, while we're considered 135 and 155 the best division in the UFC, rightly so, but I'd like to put forward a claim that the current heavyweight top 10, Jones, Stipe, Pavlovich, Gan, Aspinall, Blades, Tai, Spivak, Volkov, Jalton, Tybura are better, more well-rounded than the top 10 in any other division. Listen, it's come a long way, but it's not better than any other division. Definitely come a long way, and definitely better than 205, which it's often compared to. But better than 135 and 155? Not so. Jones is like the rising tide that lifts all boats. But no, it's in a great spot. Imagine if it had Francis. Each fighter can finish fights with their striking, high-level grappling, submission threats. Also would love to hear GC and Rick on this one. No. I want to see Tom fight one more time. I think that would make a lot of sense. One more big fight. Whether it's against Pavlovich, whether it's against Gan, Spivak, by the way, whether it's against Blades, but, Blades has to get by Almeida, and then, that would be November, so the timing wouldn't work out as well. I've said my piece. Aspinall, Pavlovich, make it. By the way, if we're making DDP versus Whitaker, if we're making Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen, we could sure as hell make Aspinall versus Pavlovich, okay? I mean, let's not pretend there hasn't been some wacky matchmaking. Stefan. Shalom, Mario. A few quick hitters this week. Is Paulo Costa still on the last fight of his contract? No, as we just found out. He seems to be getting the Nathan treatment. No. When do you expect an announcement regarding MVP's next move? I think it will take some time. There's some interest from a lot of different people. So, yeah, I think he's playing the field, and he was announced on the broadcast as I predicted, but he was never in play to get signed before Saturday. So this is fun. Let him play the field. To me, there's UFC, there's PFL, and then there's obviously the boxer / influencer route. Let's see what happens. True or false, PFL ends up on DAZN after this year, maybe in some capacity, but I do think they want a linear TV deal. So I'll say false in that regard. I think they want a linear TV component in addition to a potential streaming component as well. But I think being on linear TV, what I mean by that is like ESPN channel, TNT, an actual channel as opposed to just streaming, I think is very important for them. They have a deal with DAZN for PFL Europe. DAZN actually owns a piece of that, but I think that they want a linear component. If I put the over-under for Ngannou's purse for the Fury fight at $37.5 million, what would you take? Wait, You're asking if Ngannou's purse is $37.5 million? I mean, is that before all the pay-per-view stuff and whatnot? I don't think he's getting $37.5 million to show. So I guess under, but I don't know how the pay-per-view structure is, but I don't think the actual purse is $37.5 million. David, Ariel, with Apple now in the MLS business, do you foresee Apple going into the MMA business in the near future? TBD. I know, obviously Amazon is in the MMA business with one, and I think Apple is going to get more and more involved in the sports business, live sports business, especially with, the baseball deal and then the MLS deal. I haven't heard anything about MMA. There's only so many MMA properties right now, but I wouldn't be surprised in some way, shape, or form, or even boxing. By the way, can I just say something? I'm so obsessed might be strong, but like enamored with the whole MLS, Messi, Apple thing. Like yesterday, I was at a friend's house, my kids' friend's parents' house, and like we were eating dinner, and my kids were like, "Oh, it's 7:30. We have to go watch Messi," and they watched the entire game. Sorry about the loss, GC Atlanta United. But like they couldn't get enough. I couldn't get enough. We're sitting there, and I was sitting there on Friday, and I'm at a restaurant in Boston watching on Apple Inter Miami play Cruz Azul from Mexico, and then yesterday Atlanta United in the League's Cup, which is actually a pretty good idea. And it's the idea that I think the NBA should have adopted for their upcoming in-season tournament with like a European league, but that's neither here nor there. This has been such a success so far, 2 games in, and obviously he's playing incredibly well. He's scored 3 goals. They're 2-0 since he started with them. And you can see even on his Instagram stories, like he's putting a link. He's getting a cut of the Apple subscriptions. Adidas is involved. It is so funny to me, people who are trying to diminish this. This is one of the most interesting, fascinating, biggest sports stories of the last decade plus. And the fact that it's Beckham involved and MLS involved and soccer involved in this very important period for soccer in this country, football in this country, is just so fascinating to watch. And you're seeing these celebrities at these games on
Didn't you go to
Friday.
one?
Did I go to one? I went to a Red Bulls game, but not Messi.
Oh, I thought you were there when he scored.
Oh, fuck. You know what, Frank? You're in timeout, all right? Can someone mute Frank's mic? What you're referring to is the fact that GC's good friend, remind me his name?
Tito.
My
guy, Tito Banac.
He was at the game, had a great angle. First I just retweeted his angle of the goal on Friday. Then I reposted it saying, I'm so happy I watched this live, in that I was watching it on my fucking phone like all of you. And some of you took that as I was at the game. I can understand that. But if I would have been at the game, I would have said I'm so happy that I was there in attendance to watch this live. Major difference. And so that's what Frank is referring to.
I see what people are saying.
Why would I need that? Why would I need that clout?
You post a video from the stands as a fan, and it's just like...
Okay, so I'm sorry that I got him all these extra followers and views. I'm sorry that Men in Blazers reposted it, Sports Illustrated. I'm sorry that I like.
Even my brother sent it to me.
Well,
I have no issue with what you did, but I understand the confusion. I see the...
Does anyone actually think that I was trying to pretend like I was there?
I don't think you were trying to. I think it was just the word selection.
Okay, I was hyped. I was hyped. All right, I was excited.
I told my wife about this, and she was like, and they're all after his head now, saying that he misrepresented him. Like, you just jumped to a conclusion that hopefully
and that's 1,000% accurate.
Yeah.
I was excited. And, it's a great story. You have to admit, this is a lot of fun.
The fact that he went out last night and scored 2 goals in 25 minutes it took him to get the first 2?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, anything that Inter Miami posts about him just gets skyrocketed. It's just right on a rocket ship. The engagement's insane.
It's so interesting to like the discourse around it, because instead of just enjoying it, it's like, oh, he's playing scrubs, or oh, these are exhibition games, or oh, the fans are leaving early. Like, hey, can we just enjoy it?
The fans were leaving early when they were up 4-0.
Yes.
I think that's all right. In the 78th minute. Like, it's like the game has been decided. I am interested to see what it's going to be like once they're back to the regular season because they're not officially out of the playoffs. I know they're in last.
Yeah.
It's not officially out.
But they're in this Leagues Cup thing. So imagine, and that's like clean slate. So imagine they just win that. Then it's kind of
Leagues Cup.
Yeah.
And then they win out the rest of the
God,
MLS
it would be
season.
Crazy.
And they make the playoffs. And then they win the MLS Cup.
I don't know about that. It might not be enough time for all of that.
Messi's greatest achievement?
Not his greatest achievement, obviously.
You don't think so?
But I will say, like, people just shitting on MLS. Okay, none of us are soccer experts. I can guarantee you this. The competition in MLS is better than the competition in Saudi Arabia. Right? Am I right about that?
I have no clue.
Yes. I feel confident in saying that. And even Ronaldo's team didn't finish in first. And I think they were in a much better spot when he signed with them. Al Nassr. The point is, the competition is, it's not like he's, like I made the comparison that this would be akin to Michael Jordan 1999. So a little bit towards the end of the career, he had already won the 6 championships, going to sign with the last place French team in 1999. A lot of dense people replied, well, he did that. He went and signed with the Wizards. No, the Wizards are a bad team in the best league in the world. I'm talking about the last place team on one of the worst leagues in the world, because I have no problem saying, like, MLS is one of the worst leagues in the world. It's nowhere near, well, I mean, I don't know about worst leagues. There's certainly a lot of countries out there that are nowhere near MLS, but what I mean is it's nowhere near England, France, Spain, Germany, those countries, right? Italy, obviously. So this would be, and they're the last place team. I still feel like that's better than whatever the competition is, at least as of when he signed. I know it's gone better, Ronaldo with Saudi Arabia. That being said, like on Friday, he played a Mexican team. I know it was one of the worst Mexican teams as well, but he still has to go out there and perform. And we've seen a lot of guys just go take the money and die off. He's going and thriving in the first 2 games. It's fascinating to watch. And one of the great moves that they did was bring in his old manager, bring in his old teammate Busquets, and you could just see the familiarity there. And he's making everyone better. Imagine being a 20-year-old kid in that locker room. 2 weeks ago, you were just on a last place Miami team playing in Fort Lauderdale, and all of a sudden you're like hugging Messi after he scores 2 goals. What the hell? It's amazing. This is great stuff. I can't get enough. Anyway, I just had to get off my chest because I'm enjoying it. Daryl, hello, Ariel and team. I'm so glad to see that Chael's coming back to the pay-per-view this weekend. Yes, he is back. His legal troubles are officially over, and that means he's back in the mix on ESPN. Congrats to him. I'm a big fan. I know he isn't perfect, but he doesn't claim to be. The whole 16-month mess was ridiculous, and the fact that he couldn't defend himself and had to take a back seat was ridiculous. Hot Mike to you, as a friend of Chael, how special is it that he's getting to return to do jobs he never should have had to stop doing? I mean, I don't know if I could say that. I really don't know what happened. So obviously I was, supportive of someone who I like very much and consider a friend, as crazy as he may be sometime. And I hated to see that he was going through all of that, but I wasn't there, so I don't know what truly happened. I do think ESPN deserves a lot of credit for this. I know that the man in charge at ESPN on the MMA side of things, who I used to work for, Glenn Jacobs, is a huge fan and supporter of Chael's. And I think in a lot of other circumstances, they just would have said goodbye. And they didn't. And they waited to see how it all played out. And now he's being welcomed back. And I think a lot of other places could learn from that. And so I think that's pretty cool. And I love to see that. So good for him. And I'm happy that he's back in the mix. And we get to hear from him on those broadcasts. They've been very supportive of him quietly. And that's pretty unique in the TV business. So awesome. Homer the Prophet. Mediocre moderator Lewis is bad at his job. He must be picking his nose because he sure does not pick the good questions. Shout out all my homies in here asking real questions about the game, as well as the dorks that want to tell Ariel what they bought at the supermarket this morning. With that said, has there ever been more of a people's main event in UFC history than Bobby Green versus Tony Ferguson? Also, if Justin wins, do you anticipate the trilogy down the road, or is this the last time we see Justin versus Dustin? This is the question after that rant at the top, and moderator Lewis has included a response. I would like Ariel to know I purchased some milk and tea bags recently, not this morning, but close enough. Well done, moderator Lewis. Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green is not the greatest people's main event of all time. That is absurd. Solid fight, but no way. What are you talking about? I mean, Costa versus Chimaev is a bigger fight with bigger stakes attached to it. Remember, we started the people's main event movement, and it started with Conor's debut against Diego Brandao. And there's been a million other, maybe not a million, 1,000, maybe not 1,000, 100. Anyways, no to that. Solid fight, fun fight. It will be fun, but there's like an element of, I need to look at this, through my fingers because, Ferguson is in a tough spot. So I don't even know if I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, because it's a little bit uncomfortable. Anyway, Dustin 3, sure, why not? Who would say no? Lewis, what's occurring, Ariel? Never heard that before. Curious to know your thoughts on who's the greatest UFC lightweight to never hold the undisputed title. For me, it's between two men that compete on Saturday's 291 card, Poirier and Ferguson. Personally, I think El Diamante edges it. Would you agree? Any other names come to mind? Much love from Southampton, England. And a huge shout out, if possible, to my dad, Kevin, who got me into MMA and the MMA Hour as the necessary companion for the sport. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Some names that come to mind: Nathan Diaz, Donald Cerrone, Justin Gaethje, Gilbert Melendez, Dustin Poirier, Clay Guida. That's a tough one. I know that the Ferguson story was a long saga and horrendous luck attached to that. And your heart breaks for him because he was so close. And you just think back to him tripping over the cord and everything that happened and how loyal and how dependable he was for the UFC, especially early days of the pandemic. He shows up and he fights interim title and he's supposed to fight Khabib and all the drama there. But I feel like skill for skill, I got to go with Dustin as of right now. What do you think of that, New York, Rick? Best to never hold the belt at 155.
155.
Diaz, Cerrone, Gaethje, Melendez.
Are we counting interim?
No. Undisputed.
Maybe Poirier.
Yeah.
I can't think of somebody with a better resume than Poirier at 55.
Yeah,
the answer for the longest time was always Kenny Florian, right? But that I feel like that's kind of come and gone now.
Mm-hmm. I think Poirier's a good choice.
It's got to be Poirier if we're not counting interim.
I agree. Gabriel, buenos tardes, Ariel. First off, thank you to you and the crew for always getting me through the long work road trips. Appreciate it. That's very kind. I always look forward to listening to the show. I apologize if I didn't catch it, but what are your thoughts on the controversial George Kambosos versus, he wrote Matt Hughes. I think he means Maxie Hughes. Decision. Once again, it seems like the judging is the talk of the town. Is there ever a world where boxing and MMA can come together to solve this issue once and for all? My understanding is that they both deal with the same athletic commissions. A fan in Bakersfield, California, Gabrielle S. I was watching this in my bed when I was in Boston, so I wasn't really scoring it. There was one of the scorecards was I think it was 117 to 111 or something crazy like that. Not great. And it's unfortunate boxing's having such a great year and great week. I mean, 2 pound-for-pound fights and 3 out of the top 5 competing in the span of 5 days. It's unfortunate that this stuff happens, and it will always happen and will continue to happen. I just think it's a nature of, a sport being judged by human beings. And, this will never happen in the traditional stick and ball sports because there's no judges involved. But anything that has judges involved, whether it's MMA, boxing, figure skating, gymnastics, diving, swim, there's always going to be controversy. There just is. When there's not a clear-cut way to determine a winner. Can they tweak things? I will say the 10-point must system is much better suited for boxing than it is for MMA. Yes, they are both dealing with the same athletic commissions. The majority of them tend to be better versed in boxing than MMA. Obviously, the Nevadas and the Californias of the world are up to speed on both, but the traditional old school ones tend to be more boxing friendly than MMA friendly. I don't see much changing. I would love to see open scoring. I've talked about this ad nauseum. I feel like at least there's some, transparency there, but yeah. Controversy in judging in boxing and MMA is just going to be a thing, unfortunately. Crystal, hey Ariel, avid listener and fellow Canadian here, Burlington, Ontario. Shout out. 2 quick ones for you. Do you think we'll ever see Nick Diaz return to the UFC to fight again after his fight with Robbie Lawler? Every now and then articles will pop up with him saying he's looking to return. Just curious if you think he actually will. Would you like to see him back again? No and no. Would I like to see him maybe against George St. Pierre, fight past Invitational? Sure. Fight after that performance, given his age, giving the the miles on the tires. No. And I don't think he will. Maybe I'm wrong. And if he does, I feel like it will be for the wrong reasons. So I'll say no and no. Thoughts on Rose's return in September and the move to flyweight, as it's been a while since we've seen her. Yeah, I've tried to get Rose on. I've reached out a few times. Not quite ready. Happy that she's back. I know that it was left a little bit open whether she would come back. Curious to see her at 125. Golly, she's stepping in there against an absolute killer. I wouldn't have been against the idea of her going to 125 and fighting someone, in the top 20 to 15 range just to get her feet wet, back in there, get her confidence back after the disappointing performance against Carla, but that's just not her style. So fascinating fight, tough fight. I had heard that the weight cuts were getting draining, and I've seen some photos of her currently, and she's buff. Like, she has added a lot of muscle. So let's see. She is not the skinny young Rose that we met so many years ago. So really interesting fight, and kudos to her for jumping in there against someone like Mano Fiorot. So I'm happy that she's back and that she's found that love for the sport again, and let's see. Thanks, as always, for your insight, something I always look forward to on the Wednesday episodes. Thank you, Crystal. Kobe, what's the crack, Hielwani? Got a question for the boys today, so take this opportunity to answer some texts or take a bathroom break. These are my favorite. Firstly, Frank, what's the update on the blog we've been waiting patiently for? Don't think I can take it any longer. Believe this was being referred to as Through the Lens, Frank. Yeah. What's up? You just all talk or what?
I got sidetracked with another project at the studio. Look
at you. You're so busy.
Yeah.
What, you can't multitask? You can only do one project at a time? TST is doing like 8 things, but still gives us Substack updates.
Yeah, I love those.
Now that that's wrapped up, we can start on the blog, though?
Yeah.
So what?
I'm waiting for it.
So when are we getting it?
First quarter 2024.
What?
First quarter 2024? That's in freaking 6 months from now, bro.
You asked.
Okay. You've let us down again. When I die, if they can use this, can they ask Frank to lay me down just so that he can let me down one last time?
I haven't heard that one before.
GC, first off, Tough Hang has really started to hit a groove. How about that? Better late than never. Especially last week. So kudos on that. My question is, when can we expect a video version of No Bets Barred, seeing as you have a setup from home already? Great question.
Funny that he asked that. I was just talking with Jed. The key would be someone that can edit the video. That's all we need. But I feel like we're missing out not having a video component of it, especially if we're going to be video chatting while we do it. Plus, we also have these fantastic studios here that I used this morning. It makes me look like a real deal YouTuber.
Really?
In a minute. I mean, like this camera is HD. The one in the other studios might be even more HD. Might be 4K.
All right, so why don't you do it?
Are you gonna edit it? You
can edit video.
2024.
You can edit video.
Yeah, no commitments made right now. Currently on the air.
All right. Lastly, for Rick, this is less of a question and more of a request. I think we'd all love a bit of a throwback. Any chance of a post-291 Rick's picks? Make it happen. Ariel, the OGs miss it. Thanks as always, fellas. What do you think of that? Rick's picks. I mean, a lot of these newbies, Rick, don't even know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I feel like that one's buried. I don't think we need to even dig it back up.
Now, when he says Rick's picks, is he talking about the picks or is he talking about like your stroll through social media?
I think he's probably talking about that one.
Yeah,
but I think both are dead and buried.
Rick's picks are a lot of fun. You could tell them in a bun.
Mike Heck, I mean, just
what was it again? Was it Rick's picks are a lot of fun?
Yeah, something to that effect. But yes, and his hair is in a bun.
Yes. Oh my God.
Somebody has it. I mean, I'm sure whoever's running the board right now can play it.
Mike Heck confided in me.
That he didn't write it.
No, that Rick's Picks is one of his favorite works he's ever done, and he's very disappointed it doesn't get used anymore.
Oh my
was
God.
it term that Rick just used dead and buried?
Yeah,
is that what it was?
Dead and buried was
no. The segment. I would never disrespect the song. The song.
I feel like we could loop in the song every once in a while.
Yeah.
There's a story on the song. So Mike Heck, this is I don't think you know this story. Like maybe he talked about this, but Mike didn't work at the site at the time that he came up with this, and then he put the song out, and we had a few people purchase it, and he donated the proceeds to charity. It all went to a good cause. It was great.
Really?
Purchased it? Like what? He put it on iTunes or something?
Yeah.
Throw it back. 99 cents.
I don't remember. I'm sure it was something like that. But yeah, a few really hardcore fans bought it, and it went to a good cause. So shout out to Mike, one of the true mensches in the game. But yeah, it is a good song. And an animation with the great opening and closing.
Yeah,
it was tremendous.
Yeah, the garage was beep beep. It was very New York City, right?
Very New York. I loved it. But the segment itself, I feel like this is
run its course.
It's run its course. It's better when we're just doing a weave and everybody's jumping in there. It's a little bit too singularly driven, right? Just going through the moments. We can just talk about them.
Mm-hmm. By the way, going to our previous question, good one from Casey here in the chat. Jim Miller, best to never win a belt at 155. Not bad. I think I'd put.
No, I think his thing was best to never even fight for a belt, right? Because I don't think he's in the convo.
Right.
I don't think he's in the convo for best to never win, unfortunately. But I do think he's in the convo for best to never even get the opportunity.
I mean, hard to argue against Tony Ferguson. Never got a title shot.
Guess.
Yeah, interim.
If the interim doesn't count, then he never even got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
Which is just
that's rough.
Yeah, horrible.
That's crazy.
Here's our old friend Jason. Hello, Ariel. My question this week is actually for GC. As he went to and did the Barbenheimer on Sunday. What was his thoughts on both films in a more thorough breakdown? Oh yeah. What was his game plan with the snacks / how long was the gap between seeing films? Lastly, I saw he bought a Barbenheimer shirt. How many more wears will it get? Thanks for the great content as always. Go Bills. All right. Let us know.
I mean, let's start first and foremost. The shirt went through the wash yesterday.
Disintegrated.
It up. No, it didn't disintegrate. I was like, man, when am I ever going to wear this thing again? Was just a little bit too caught up in everything. And unfortunately, I never thought I'd have to make this admission, especially not on the air. I did a back-to-back days thing, right?
Wow.
Back-to-back showing thing.
What's worse, this or me claiming that I was at the Messi game?
Oh, you by far. No.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't even... poor Jason thought you did the back-to-back.
Yeah, he thought I did, but I never said that I did.
Wow.
I mean, I just did the bomb emoji and the ribbon emoji. I mean, there was no descriptor of
Do you think that it was almost implied?
Certainly.
I got the shirt, but unfortunately, not unfortunately, I shouldn't say that. My friends got married this weekend, so I had to be at the wedding. That kind of foiled my back-to-back plans. Into the movies themselves, though. Oppenheimer, loved it. Rick can actually speak on it as well. He saw it too. I also like a lot of Christopher Nolan's movies, The Prestige, Interstellar, Inception, the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm a fan of Christopher Nolan. I thought this was a nice bounce back from Tenet. Does a good job of like telling Oppenheimer's life story while like not painting him out as a hero, and like a lot of things that I didn't know about it that I learned about that era. I mean, it's just an insane thing that all of that actually happened. And then Barbie is more serious than I was expecting, but obviously nowhere near as serious as Oppenheimer. Barbie, a lot of funny parts. Gosling absolutely kills it. Robert Downey in Oppenheimer also kills it. That could be a nice race for Best Supporting Actor this year. Yeah, they were both good. Liked Oppenheimer better, but Barbie was also solid.
Do you think your opinion would have been different if you had saw Barbie first?
No, you've asked me this like 3 times now.
I've asked you once.
The answer is the same. No.
All right.
Do you think it would be different?
Yeah.
Barbie was good, but I guess I didn't know what I was expecting out of it.
And for the record, don't take kids.
Right.
I just think there's a lot of PG. I just think there's a lot of stuff that your kids wouldn't really understand.
Could be an awkward.
That's okay.
home.
Not understanding is different than like exposing them to something.
Balls and genitalia jokes, and
I might just play one of those like
6 years old at the Barbie movie. Like it felt like it would have been a little early. Plus, like a lot of the movie is stuff that they wouldn't understand. Like they get pretty deep on like concepts of how the world works.
I might just play one of those Barbie cartoons and say, "This is the movie. Enjoy."
Or you could just watch it on streaming, and if it gets too intense,
then you gotta wait.
Yeah, whatever happened to like one of these and like earmuffs? Just like everybody will be fine.
So are you doing it?
It's not really like earmuffs. It's just like I don't know how much they're gonna enjoy it.
So in the end, if you could only choose to go to see one, you're going Oppenheimer.
No doubt. No
and New York Rick, true or false? You were there till 1 a.m. yesterday watching Oppenheimer? Like
I was there past 1 a.m. I went to a 10:30 showing.
Oh my God!
What is up with you with these 10:30
I mean, you were there till 2. That's 20 minutes of previews.
How long is that
kids,
movie?
They go to sleep, and then I go watch the movie.
Bro, how do you have the energy? 10:30, I'm done. How do you do that?
I'll tell you how I have the energy. I'm fasting. And fasting, me and Rampage Jackson, we got energy for days, baby.
The
I'm ready to
fasting
go.
keeps you going? Does it make you tired?
Oh yeah. No, opposite. I feel as energetic as ever when I'm fasting. It's amazing.
It doesn't keep you like, it doesn't make you ornery and sluggish?
A little bit. No, not sluggish. Definitely I can be hangry at times, but I just feel like I have so much more energy.
Now what's the fasting consist of? You just don't eat after 8?
Yeah, I do 16 hours of fasting. I eat between 12 and 8 every day.
Do you think it like triggers like a primal energy to like go find food, and you're using that to like be productive?
No, I think it's more like your body knows that it needs to conserve energy, and that's the time that it needs to process. Your metabolism kind of catches up to it. So
interesting.
I think it's just priming your body for that.
So no snacks. No snacks at the
what theater did you go to?
You know where I went. I'm an AMC loyalist, because if I don't see that
Stubbs member,
100%, baby.
Oh,
if I don't see that Nicole Kidman intro,
like
it's not even a movie. It's not even a movie.
Don't even know.
It's not even a movie.
Me and Frank are Alamo Drafthouse loyalists.
Snobs.
I did AMC for both Oppenheimer and Barbie. Just isn't as good, man. Yeah, I mean, you get the classic sticky floors. You know, the snack machine's going to be down. They're not going to have the special Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
clean
neon
bathroom?
green apple. Yeah, you're going to have the urinals overflowing with pee. It's going to be a long wait to get inside. Yeah, I mean, these are all things I experienced over the weekend. So shout out.
You just don't know. I
won't be joining the Stubbs membership.
To Rick's credit, AMC at midnight essentially is a different world.
No, I'm just kidding. I do love AMC, but if I had to choose between Alamo and AMC, it's not even a competition.
Rick, have you
dazzling
seen
images on a huge silver screen? sound that I
Rick,
can feel.
have you seen Barbie?
Wow.
No, I have not
You
yet.
got it nailed down.
Wow.
I
Feels
mean,
like
that's
Rick's
my.
an AMC plant, a little sponsorship that he's pushing on.
I have a
us.
weird urge.
Listen,
to
if
go to
they
AMC
if they want to send me something, I'd be happy. I'm a loyal AMC customer. Go check my Stubbs account, baby.
So why
Nicole
didn't you do
Kidman,
the
Queen.
Barbie Oppenheimer thing?
I mean, at 10:30, like, how am I even?
No,
they don't
you
have
could have
a
done Barbie
2
at
a.m.
8
showing.
or whatever.
I have kids. I literally the first available time that I can watch this movie is 10:30.
I respect it.
I mean, you could get don't you have you could say we're going out for, like dinner, date
Wow,
night.
lying to the wife to go see Barbie.
No, the wife is
the
with
wife
me.
is coming
We
with
went out.
him. Yeah.
Lying to the children
Yeah.
to go see Barbie.
It's date night.
Nice. Date night. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good way to hide it. I'd wait till streaming for Barbie.
Do your daughters even know? Certainly not your second one. They don't even know what Barbie is, right? They don't know that it's a movie.
No, they're not familiar with the brand. They know
Yeah.
like the dolls, but they're not familiar with the brand
Yeah,
at
so
all.
it doesn't matter.
They wouldn't care. I tried, shamefully, I tried to take my one. She was 1 at the time. My older daughter Avery. I tried to take her to Mission Impossible. What's it called? Ghost Protocol. What's the one? The latest one before this one. I think it was Ghost Protocol.
I wouldn't know.
Ghost Protocol. No, maybe not. That was before that. Why am I blanking? The one with
It's all right.
the one with Superman in it. Anyway, I took her at 1. I had her in the little papoose, like I had her in the baby carrier, and like I was an hour in, and she was like kind of like zonked out, and I was like, "Oh, this is so good." I got her in for free, and I'm just watching this movie, and she's sleeping. About an hour 15, she wakes up, and I was like, "Well, my movie's over. I'm gonna walk out, and then I'll watch the rest of this movie another time," because she just started screaming.
Oh no!
Wow.
That was
At least
her
you got
number
an hour
6 for me.
15.
I know,
An
but
hour
it's almost
15.
worse. I
Yes,
don't
I
want to
think
see an
that's
hour
worse.
15 of
I'm
a
with you.
2.5 hour movie.
100%.
That's perfect for me because then I just got an hour and 15 done, and I don't have to stay
I
up
was-
for the whole thing.
I was rolling dice. I was
You
like,
don't
"Oh,
see
if
the
she
end
can,
of the movie.
No, then I
if she
finish
can
it
sleep
another
through
time.
this,
Oh, okay.
she can sleep. I'm good," and just was not good. I blew it.
All right. Well, there's the questions for this week. Don't think we're going to do questions next week, only because we're going to be in Dallas and there's going to be too much going on at the open workouts to answer questions and all that other stuff. So the questions will be back in 2 weeks' time. I did see on Twitter just now someone saying to Sean Strickland, like, "Hey, focus on the title fight." I don't know what he was. Sean Strickland's involved in some sort of feud with Keith Lee. New York Rick, you must be all over this.
Yeah, he went on his podcast, I believe it was, and I believe Chris Curtis is his co-host, and he accused Keith Lee of being a racist.
Yes.
And then Keith Lee kind of sat on it for a bit. I'm sure trying to see like what the actual, because I mean Keith Lee at this point probably has like PR team, like he's a real celebrity.
Yeah.
And like Sean Strickland talking about you isn't necessarily like huge news in the wider world, maybe only in the MMA world, but he sat on it for a bit and then kind of said basically, "Don't put dirt on my name, and here's the real story."
Well, he did respond back and forth. Don't necessarily care about all that, but I saw Sean Strickland write to a fan that the UFC doesn't want the title fight. He said something like UFC don't want it. And in fact, that was what I was trying to allude to at the top of the show. That is what I'm hearing, that the UFC doesn't want the Strickland Izzy fight. And so there's a bit of a predicament here with the DDP situation. Thought after Izzy's video that it was fait accompli, that they would fight on September 9th. From what I'm hearing, UFC doesn't feel like it's a very, I don't know, like it's a close enough matchup to make, which to me is crazy because Izzy fighting in Sydney is a massive deal. And Lord knows they've put on worse main events than that. And actually last week when all this went down, I was surprised at how many people were saying like, "Oh, imagine if Sean won. Could you imagine how crazy this is going to be?" Or go Sean. I saw some love for him. I didn't see a lot of "this is BS, this is a mismatch, this is this and that." And, like him or not, Sean Strickland's a top 6 middleweight. And I'm pretty sure Izzy has beaten every single other fighter in the top 5. So he's next man up if it's not DDP. So I'm very curious to see what they end up doing there. I think Israel has been a good soldier for them and has fought whenever they needed him. And I know he was banged up going into Miami and he took that fight. So to not put him on that card seems a little bit weird to me. But yeah, 1 is DDP, 2 is Pereira, 3 is Whitaker, 4 is Cannonier, 5 is Vettori, 6 is Strickland, 7 is Costa, 8 is Brunson, 9 is Delice. Like that's the one guy. It's a little bit puzzling and surprising to me, especially since we've had some lesser main events and bigger mismatches historically than this one. I don't even know if there's a line out for this one, but it's a weird thing. What was that?
I was going to say, here's how you know it's not the fight to make. Because there's an assumption that he's going to lose in the next fight we're getting is DDP. So why? Why do we need it? If we're already booking him, Israel Adesanya versus DDP, why do we need a Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya fight?
You need a Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya fight because Israel really wants to fight in Sydney close to home, because he's the biggest star active on the roster, because this is what he has set his sights on. Active? Israel's a bigger star than John Jones. No question. Worldwide? He's a megastar. Serious?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that's like
worldwide
a hot take.
With
John
kids?
Jones is a bigger star. Yeah.
With kids? No chance. Anyway, okay, fine. John Jones. Point is, when the second biggest star on the roster wants to fight and there's no main event and there's a guy who's in the top 6 who's ready to go and you're like, don't love this one, that's weird to me. Is there that big?
I get it.
So you're gonna spit in your biggest star or second biggest star's face and say, no, you're gonna...
let's say Izzy slips on a banana peel. Now you've really hurt Izzy versus DDP. Like, why? What is...
You were willing to risk DDP by putting him in there against Robert Whitaker. He could have lost that fight easily.
Another fight is 10 times bigger. Does Israel Adesanya gain anything by beating Sean Strickland?
Yeah, a lot of money. More superstardom. Some of these fights need to happen. This would be his first defense, since winning the belt. Some of these fights need to happen to make the star grow. And if you're that confident, or if you want to see the DDP fight so badly, you put him in there against Sean Strickland. Let's say he beats Sean, which I don't think is like a foregone conclusion. I would certainly favor him in the fight and think he should be the big favorite. And then it only looks bigger. You bring DDP out there, you do another face-off, you do whatever. The fight's only bigger.
If Sydney wasn't on the books, if Sydney wasn't a location, would this even be a conversation?
Well, number one, there's no one else. There's literally no one else.
So DDP, when he's ready.
No. There's no. If this card was happening in Las Vegas, if it was happening in Paris, if they have a pay-per-view on September 9th, who's headlining the pay-per-view?
At the moment, nobody.
Yes. And you have arguably the biggest star saying, I would like to headline it. You figure it out. You put him in there against someone. You have a minimum 500,000 pay-per-view buys ready to go. What are you doing? What are you going to do? Pantoja against Brandon Royval, with all due respect? Like, what's bigger? You're going to put Leon and Colby in Sydney when you have Izzy ready to go? What are you going to do? You're going to put Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochaska in Sydney? By the way,
those also sound like good fights, better fights than Strickland and Izzy.
That makes sense for the market. And if you're Israel Adesanya, who is always there and ready to go, and you put Alex Pereira in the main event slot in essentially your back,
that's a fair point.
How do you feel about that?
If Israel Adesanya says, I have to fight on this card, I must, and there's no way to talk him out of it,
he wants to fight on the card.
I guess
badly.
You do it, but there's not really a logical reason to do it outside of that. That's the only one reason.
Okay, then let me ask you this: Izzy's a pay-per-view fighter, right? He wants to go.
Definitely.
He steps up. He's available. He never backs down. Correct? You agree with that?
I agree with all of that.
Where's he fighting rest of the year? Is he fighting in Abu Dhabi? No. Is he fighting at MSG
December?
with John Jones? He's fighting.
I don't know.
The dude was ready to go. You're going to make him wait all the way to December.
Again, but
Dude, when you're the biggest star, you get certain things. Things.
If he wants it, then I hope he gets it. But if we're looking at all the things in the mix,
And why
That's
is Sean
the only
Strickland
reason it
such
would
a
be
bad?
done.
Are we pretending that like there haven't been worse matchups than Sean Strickland versus Izzy? We just got Amanda Nunes versus Zidane Aldana as a title fight main event headliner. We just got that 2 months ago. Last month.
There's the argument isn't that there's not lopsided fights that have happened before. Half of Amanda Nunes' title defenses were kind of foregone conclusions, but I don't know. I'm personally not clamoring for a Sean Strickland fight. It sounds like there's some people out there that are. But the only reason to do it would be Israel Adesanya wants it, and Sydney is on the calendar.
Those are two massive reasons. Reasons. You can't get Volkanovski. You just brought up 3 reasons. 2 out of the 3 reasons are huge reasons and factors in his favor. He wants it, and you're going to Sydney. The third is you don't like the matchup just in a vacuum. Fair. I would say, who else is he going to fight? If DDP's injured. So who knows when he comes back at this point? He's banged up. And then you factor in, who else is there? Is the winner of Pereira versus Jan going to come back and fight in a month and a half? We're talking about a month and a half. What are we getting? We're getting Yuri and Ankalaev in a month and a half as the main event of a pay-per-view. We're getting Leon and Colby in a month and a half. What do we like? It's right there. Sometimes they do things that are baffling to me. And I do think that, again, like if Israel was a boxer and he said, I want to fight Sean Strickland on this day, the promoter would do everything in their power to make that happen. Now, I get it. This isn't boxing. It's not Top Rank. It's not this or that. But I do feel like you reach a certain status, you deserve to get certain perks. You've earned certain perks. He's earned those perks. He just went through freaking 2 fights with Alex Pereira. He got knocked out in one. He knocked him out in the other. I could think of worse things than a Sean Strickland fight. And I don't think that the Sean Strickland fight is like an egregious, insulting fight. There have been way worse title fights than that. Way bigger mismatches. And it's right there. And it's in Sydney. And it's in his backyard. And he wants to fight there. And it's the closest that he will get to fight in New Zealand. They're not going to New Zealand for a pay-per-view anytime soon. It's a weird one to me. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Yes?
An update on the Sean Strickland thing. He posted this a couple hours ago. He says there's a small chance Kevin Lee might come to Vegas next week to defend his brother's honor.
Oh, wow.
He says no rules, no time limit, no criminal prosecution. I don't normally feel this level of joy. Man, I haven't cried in years, but it's happening. Thank you, Keith Lee. And it's a picture of Sean Strickland crying. He posted a selfie with tears in his eyes.
This is silly. And look, I'm trying, Sean and I aren't the best of friends, but I do think that it's not a crazy matchup, and I think it's like a perfect main event for a Sydney pay-per-view. Why not? If not DDP, and we all knew that there was a strong possibility that DDP wouldn't be ready 2 months after a Robert Whittaker fight. Like, who does that? It makes no sense. The matchup didn't make sense. All right, they rolled the dice, great, but the timing made less sense, as we discussed before and after. All right, let's get to the picks. First, a quick word from our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. As you all know, it's a massive weekend in combat sports. Bellator Rising, UFC 291, and the big one in Las Vegas, Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. First time in the 4-belt era that we are getting an undisputed champion at 147 pounds, welterweight title, glamour division in boxing historically. The 4 kings back in the day, De La Hoya, Trinidad, Mayweather, all those guys have been in that picture, and now it's Spence Crawford for not only the undisputed title, but also perhaps the pound-for-pound #1 title as well. They're battling Saturday in Las Vegas at T-Mobile, and DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered on all the action. New customers, strike now, get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. What are the lines right now, GC? Tell us. What do we got?
Terrence Crawford, -150. Errol Spence, +130.
Any good prop bets there?
The decision lines for both guys are above +200. I feel like they're both so skilled, it might go to a decision. Knockout props, Like Errol Spence by knockout is like plus 600. There's some bets to be had on that fight.
Yeah. Both guys obviously undefeated. Both guys, haven't been hit often. It's going to be tremendous. Spence, the southpaw. Crawford, switch hitter. One of the best at that. Check it out this Saturday. Don't miss out on the fight everyone's talking about. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code the MMA Hour. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5. That's this Saturday only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code the MMA Hour. Now, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resorts in Kansas, 21 and older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And states specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/terms. All right. Now I get to sit back, relax, and enjoy the boys' debate. Who they'll pick.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go ahead and hit the randomizer. Let's pick some winners, baby.
Let's go.
Did you hit it?
It's a long one.
Yeah, it actually just finished. It did take a little bit longer than normal. Rick will go first. I will go second. Frank will go third.
Sweet.
I feel it. It's a nice winner coming.
I'm going to play it a little bit safe here, so don't blame me, boys. Take something with some decently favorable odds for me.
All right.
I'm going to go to the alternate totals.
Okay.
Loving it.
And I'm going to take Derek Lewis versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima under 2.5 at minus 450.
I had a strong feeling you were going to go there once you said alternate total rounds.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stick in the alternate total rounds as well.
Oh.
And I'm going to go under 2.5 in the Jake Matthews-Darius Flowers fight.
Wow.
Minus 220. So that gets us to minus 130 with just Frankie to go.
Oh, yeah.
These are all very hipster picks on your part.
I'm going to go to the Thompson and Pereira fight.
Okay.
Over 2.5.
2.5.
Minus 215.
Minus 250. That confident, eh?
Is there a 1.5 available?
There is a 1.5 available.
Oh, I didn't see. Is that under alternate?
Minus 215 plus gets us to plus 160. I'm seeing minus 215 on that.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you wanted to do the over 1.5,
I didn't even look at that tab.
That's minus 400. That does have us at plus 122. Big difference, I have to say. So it's up to you, Frankie. Whatever you feel comfortable
I'm going to stick
with
the pick that I made.
Okay. All right. So over 2.5 in that fight. All totals. No money lines for the boys without Ariel in play here. So we'll go under 2.5 Derek Lewis, Marcos Rogerio de Lima, under 2.5 Jake Matthews, Darius Flowers, and over 2.5 Stephen Thompson, Michel Pereira. Plus
this has to be a first, right?
Yeah, I think so. No money lines. Interesting. Not.
I just have to fix something, so please keep going.
Yeah, sure. You feel all right about it, Rick?
I feel fantastic about it.
Great. Great. I'm glad you do.
We shed some dead weight, so we're good now.
Yeah, he didn't hear you. His headphones are off. Yeah, it's all
You'd
good.
be surprised what he can hear.
All right, we want to dive in.
My battery plug got unplugged. So
yikes.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Let's dive in. UFC 291, maybe a little boxing action.
Yeah, nothing on the boxing. A little disappointed, but whatever.
Oh, yeah. I guess you would have looked to maybe do something in boxing.
Yeah.
You want to join the...
No,
picks?
I'm good.
All right. Well, then we will start with not the curtain jerker, but the second fight of the night. Matt Semmelsberger by KO TKO against Uros Medic. I think this fight's just going to be very hectic from the jump. Medic has never gone past 8 minutes in his entire career. Now he's getting this fight on short notice, up a weight class. I think he's going to come in here. I think they're going to strike. When we see Matt Semmelsberger struggle, it's typically when he gets taken down. I don't think there's going to really be much threat of that here, so I think they're going to stand and bang. And I mean, Semmelsberger has got the power advantage. That is clear. 6 knockdowns in his last 3 UFC fights, 9 in his 8-fight UFC career, as well as 2 knockouts. I think he is going to find the chin of Uros Medic at some point, and I think he's going to get him out of there. So I like him to win by KO. The pick that I just made in the Parlay Pals, Parlay Boys, Matthews Flowers under 2.5. I mean, this is a very short notice. I think like 10 days notice, if that, for Darius Flowers. He started his 18-fight career, 3 straight decisions. Since then, 1 decision in 15 fights, including 10 that ended in the first round. And I went and looked at his boxing career. According to BoxRec, he is 1-10 as a boxer, with 7 of those losses coming via knockout. I mean, he is the definition of a killer-be-killed fighter. He's coming to elevation on short notice. I think he's going to come in here looking for the finish early, and if he doesn't get it, one of his weaknesses is getting subbed, and I think Matthews will be able to get a submission if Flowers did not get him out of there earlier. Should be a fun fight for as long as it lasts. Let's keep it rolling. Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I took him a couple weeks ago. This line has been steamed to the moon. I do apologize for that, but I think this is a good matchup for him. Derek Lewis, it just kind of feels like he may be past his prime, and I think de Lima has multiple paths to victory here, whether it be with the leg kicks, whether it be for going for a takedown, or just standing and trading. I mean, he is super tough, and he can crack. So I think there are more ways to win for Marcos Rogerio de Lima, and I think he gets it done.
It's making me a little bit sad. That's why.
Yeah, I mean,
no, you bet with your mind.
Well, I can also be wrong. I think we've learned over the last 18 months, however long we've been doing this, almost 24 months now. I can certainly be wrong, and I am wrong fairly often. We go to the main card. Man, we had earlier on the show today, taking on Kevin Holland. I'm going to take the under 2.5 in this one. Just feel like there's many ways that this fight could be finished. I think we're good for a couple takedown attempts from Michael Chiesa, and I feel like he's going to have some success there. And when it hits the mat, he is obviously live for a sub. But I also think Kevin Holland is live for a submission as well. And then if it does stay on the feet, Michael Chiesa may not be that live for a knockout, but I think Kevin Holland is. I think there's many ways that this fight can be finished. Kevin Holland, obviously a very exciting fighter. Michael Chiesa, I think he's going to come in here to scrap, and I do think someone is going to be finished. We keep it rolling. This one I'm taking solely based off the number. A lot of people may struggle with this one just because it can be tough to trust Michel Pereira to go out there and fight the smartest game plan as opposed to putting on an exciting fight. But if he goes for the grappling in this fight, I think he can have success. And a lot of people worried about the gas tank. Last 5 fights, 5-0, 5-fight win streak, average fight time of 14 minutes and 56 seconds. Like, he can go all 3 rounds. And I think he's going to do that here. I think they will go to a decision. I like your pick in the Parlay Pals there, Frankie. And I think it's just going to be a close, competitive fight. And when it goes to the scorecards, I want to be holding a plus 300 ticket. He's sitting at like plus 135 right now, but his last 4 wins are by decision. The one before that was like 4.5 minutes into the 3rd round. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has only been finished once in his lengthy career. So I think that's his most likely path to victory. And I do want to give a shout out to a statistic that I came across. Knockout Bets on Twitter posted this. A 10-year age gap between fighters. When one fighter is 10 or more years younger than another fighter, they're 17-2 against them. When it's 10 years and the opponent is 35 plus, they are 13-1. And when it is 10 years and the opponent is 40 plus, They are 6-0. All of those fights happening in 2023. Michel Pereira, 29 years of age. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, 40. So that is that falls under those guidelines. Moving on to the main event at UFC 291. I will be going with Dustin the Diamond Poirier, El Diamante. I'm not going to sit here and do a super technical breakdown here for you because I think this is a ridiculously close fight, but it is for the BMF belt. I needed to have a dog in this race. I needed to have someone to cheer for. And I just like cheering for the Diamond, man. I like cheering for Dustin Poirier, and I think this is going to be a war. And who do I want to have in a war? Dustin Poirier. I guess you can also make the exact same argument for Justin Gaethje, but went back and watched the first fight. I think Justin Gaethje has evolved a lot since there. I think he's more defensively sound, but I think Dustin Poirier can have a lot of similar successes. He did go for 5 takedowns in that last fight, obviously unsuccessful with them, but I am curious to see if he goes back to the well to try and get this to the mat because I think he will have some advantages there as well. But I think it's going to be a great fight. Whoever wins, more power to him, but I'm going to be backing El Diamante. Got my knockout edition here.
Oh, yeah.
Of the old hot sauce. I mean, let's just get a quick spritz.
Oh, my God. You're insane. What?
That's the good stuff, baby.
That is a tough one.
That is the good stuff, man.
Oh, my God. Which is your favorite? KO edition?
KO edition's pretty hot, man. I like the maple. Honestly, I've never done that before with the KO edition.
That's not easy.
We do it for the diamond, baby.
I like the original.
I'll do a full shot of this on the watch party.
Oh, my God.
If the diamond gets it done.
If he gets it done.
That was like a little bit. It wet the whistle, though.
Bro.
We move parlays real quick. The multi-week parlay that I said last week on the show. Bonfim still alive to try and finish
struggling?
it. No. I'm all right. You kind of like cleared the sinuses out a little bit.
Sure.
Hotter than I remember. I can't lie. KO edition.
Yeah.
Maybe that's good things to come. Maybe I'm reversing the jinx that Rick said I put on the fight earlier. Now we're going to get a great
Ghost
KO.
pepper, I think it is.
It's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Full shot coming if El Diamante wins. Gabriel Bonfim, I think he's got advantages pretty much anywhere this fight goes. 14 wins, 14 by finish. Trevin Giles, he has been finished in all 4 of his losses. I do think he's going to win by finish. A violence parlay.
That's what this should be for, the violence title.
Yeah, honestly. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for the BMF belt, though. Giles Bonfim doesn't go to a decision. Luis de Lima under 2.5, and Kopylov Ribeiro does not go to a decision. Kopylov and Ribeiro, 26 professional fights, 23 have knock on the distance. And then to boxing. I do have a pick. I don't know if you're aware of this, Ariel, but
yes.
It is Shark Week. I don't know if you've tuned to Discovery Channel. I know a lot of people like to call Earl Spence the Truth. An alternate nickname for him, Big Fish.
Yeah.
Earl Spence, Big Fish. Sharks tatted on him, and it is Shark Week. Last week this worked. Alex Morono, the great white, fighting on Shark Week. He picks up a huge win as an underdog. And what do we have here? Earl, Big Fish, Spence Jr. Sharks tatted on this man. You could see it in the bottom right corner. He's not losing on Shark Week. Undefeated when he fights on Shark Week.
Is that true? What's his record?
0-0. He's never lost on Shark Week. But that's going to stay the same this week. 1-0 after this one. I'm going to be riding with Earl Spence Jr. In all seriousness, if you say you have an edge on this fight, if you say you know who's going to win, I would just say you're biased. I think it's just so close. They're both so high level. Can't wait to watch it happen. It's going to be amazing. And then last but not least, we're promoing stuff.
There it is.
Saturday night, tune in, BMF belt on the line. We'll also be watching Earl Spence Jr.
You'll have double
Terrence
screen?
Crawford. Oh, we'll be double screening it. Don't you worry. Special guest. Can't give it away yet, but it's looking like there's a very special guest lined up.
In studio?
Not in studio. No, we're not that good. We're not Helwani good, but may or may not fight in the 155 division of the UFC.
I thought it was going to be Helwani from T-Mobile. Maybe I could call in from the Zoom.
You said it. Now you got to stick by it.
I'll do it if I could.
We had someone call in from Miami. Our boy TC, Tony, from Le Batard.
Oh,
He
former
called in from
producer of the
Miami.
program.
The man.
He called in from the arena?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. From
That's
287.
amazing. Live report?
Live report,
No
man.
one told me this.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
For which fight?
You weren't watching the watch.
It was as
in
Jorge
Montreal.
was walking out.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, he was screaming, yelling. It was wild.
By the way, you notice that everyone's talking about like Jorge putting the belt, like just complete. I need to get Spencer to Spencer. Can we reheat that clip? I mean, this all originated right here.
Yeah, I remember it. I was right here.
Top of the dome.
Watch it happen. Yeah, that was great.
He wasn't even invited. He wasn't even going.
Listen, man, the powers that be are tuned in, I'm sure.
Yo, you're one of the very few that I've seen like the I don't know, the pundits, the sexy pick seems to be Crawford. I haven't seen a lot of people pick Spence.
Big fish, baby. It's Shark Week.
Yeah, no.
I don't know how you can go against the big fish on Shark Week.
Both of them though, like I've watched all the content, All Access. I've watched the Arrivals. I've watched the workout. I don't know if you've watched it, GC or Rick, but like they don't give you much. They don't give you much. Where you're like, well, I know it's gonna be great, and this and that. It's like the contrast between them and Tank and Garcia in terms of like the sell, and even the player. Like Tank and Garcia had, they had De La Hoya and Ellerby and their whole thing. There's no real other characters here. Derek James a bit of a character. There's periphery guys, but no real other. This is like just purely if you like are a fan of boxing, are a fan of theirs, and I think like a lot of the athletes and sports stars are fans of theirs and whatnot. It's going to be big time. I do wonder what it's going to do on pay-per-view though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you like the fight game, I mean, this is the fight to watch. I think it's going to be insanely high level. I can't wait for it.
I wonder what does better on pay-per-view, 291 or this, just because the UFC, is doing so well these days.
I feel like it's Spence Crawford, right? Like this was the fight to make.
Yeah, no. I wonder. I think it will be Spence Crawford. I think there's more stakes, higher stakes attached to Spence Crawford. Obviously, like I said, generational fight will hopefully be talked about we're probably going to get two of them because they both have rematch clauses. So we may even get them in the same calendar year, which might be asking a lot, but maybe the second one in December. So let's see. But this is fun. If you're a fight fan, from pretty much like 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern all the way until, I don't know, 4 or 5 a.m. Are you doing watch party for Bellator Horizon too?
Of course, yeah. We'll stay up all night, get the Dunkin' Donuts going, get the coffee.
Yeah, you get like 12 straight hours of fights. What a shame. The Bellator Horizon card is fun, even without AJ, but it's just completely
overshadowed.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a real shame. I wish they would have done it even like Friday going into Saturday. So it gets a little bit more buzz.
That would have been better. Definitely would have been better.
But they march to the beat of their own drum over there in Japan. So that's what they're doing. It's going to be fun. I look forward. And then we'll be back on Monday to talk about it all before I'm going to Las Vegas, coming home Sunday night, doing show Monday, leaving Tuesday morning. I mean,
let's go.
Where's the dedication?
Busy
Who's more
times.
dedicated than me?
Busy times, baby.
Busy times. Can't wait. Where else, as the great Marv Levy once said, would you rather be than right here, right now? Nowhere. That's what I say. Nowhere. Who's going to be the audio guy in Dallas since Frank's privileges have been revoked? Frank is going to be so Texas hipster guy in Dallas. Oh, over there.
Oh, yeah. Anytime I get excited about anything, he's going to shut it down.
Yeah. Oh, you like that? Let me tell you about Tex-Mex. Locals don't really like Tex-Mex. It's not really our thing. I can't wait for that. Oh, did you guys know that we like to put mushroom oil in our coffee over here in Texas? Everything's bigger in Texas.
It's true.
Yuckity yuck. Do you guys know that we love big steaks over here? You know what they say about big steaks?
The sad thing is, I like this Frank character more than I like Frank. I mean,
wow. Oh my gosh. All right, gents.
I'm just kidding, Frank. I love you.
God bless. Talk to you on Monday. Frank, God bless. You can hear my music. You may not know this, and I didn't want to start the show with this, but I don't think I've ever arrived later than I did. It took me 2 hours to get here from my house. The amount of cars. And there was a brief moment where I was like, man, there was once a time where it was taking me like 45 minutes to get here because there were so few people in the city. And don't get me wrong, I'm not longing for those days a couple of years ago, but holy smokes, it feels like there's more cars than ever. What is going
Do you think
on?
it had something to do with the crane?
Oh, did something happen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Today.
I was wondering why it took. Wait, no, honestly, I don't know.
I'm curious. It was on 10th Avenue and 41st.
Oh,
no.
Oh, thank God. Well, that must have been it. This is the long. It took me 2 hours door to door to get here.
That's great. How was the parking? Was it pretty quick?
Yes, and that was not good either. So annoying. Went into the spot, into the garage. You know, it's a tight fit all the way to the front. You're like, all right, here I am. Guy's like, no, sorry, we're full. I'm like, bro, you got to put a sign.
After you're pulling.
You have to put a sign. You know how long it's going to take me to back up this whole way? At that point, I thought about just calling it a day. But we had Robbie Lawler to get to. We
did a rehearsal without you.
Great. Let's just always do that. Thank you very much, all our guests. Tremendous show. Thanks for all the questions. Thank you, Mike Chiesa. Good luck to him. Thank you, Nathaniel Wood. Congrats. Thank you, Robbie Lawler. Congrats. Good luck to Paulo Costa. Thanks to them. Thanks to you. Back on Monday, same time and place.